Look behind you.
Better than that.
Bro. How we looking, y'all? We give about a few seconds.
Yo, man. Yo. Y'all
Just catch it up with y'all. All right, Shabbat Shalom, family. Take your time, Elijah. You good? Shabbat Shalom to the worldwide family. Y'all know how we do it. We face toward Holy Jerusalem. We're in the west, so we turn east. Not to any idol stones or walls, but we turn toward where the law cometh forth from. As mentioned in Daniel chapter 6, verse 10, 1 Kings 8 chapter, the book of Jonah. Also, men are to uncover their head when praying or prophesying within the assembly, and women are to cover their heads when praying or prophesying within the assembly. That's 1 Corinthians 11 chapter. Also read Numbers 30 chapter for entire understanding of the order of the household. Also, we hold our hands high as 1 Tim chapter 2, verse 8 states, we want the Most High to lift us up with his holy word and his power. With that, who got the song?
Psalms 24, with the Most High's permission and name of his only begotten Son. Long live the King.
Long live the King.
The earth is the Elohim, and the fullness thereof.
Yes, sir.
The world and they that dwell therein. For he hath founded it upon the seas, and established it upon the floods. Who shall ascend into the hill of the Elohim, or who shall stand in his holy place? He that hath clean hands and a pure heart, who hath not lifted up his soul unto vanity, nor sworn deceitfully, he shall receive the blessings from the Elohim, and righteousness from the power of his salvation. This is the generation of them that seek him, that seek thy face, O Jacob, Selah.
Selah.
Lift up your heads, all ye gates, and be ye lift up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is the King of glory? The Elohim strong and mighty, the Elohim mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and lift them up for everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is the King of glory? The Elohim of hosts. He is the King of glory. Selah.
Selah.
Hallelujah. Selah.
Not early, huh? Right. All right, y'all, just gonna go over lesson today, but want to get right through it, y'all. So normally we ask any questions concerning anything on your heart, mind, or soul before we get started. Also want to thank everybody who offered up prayers for Brother Jacob's mom's passing. He want to thank all of y'all personally, and he sends out his shalom to y'all. And the radio station will be right back up. He's probably gonna just start fresh Monday. So most likely it won't be a live show tomorrow, but we'll get things back on track. Brother's doing okay, doing really well, him and his family. So y'all, today's lesson is the holy law is supreme. And we're gonna go over some things today so that you understand what that means when it's supreme. Just like anything else, it's the top. It has to be always looked at as the reigning power, so to speak. Like you see boxers with the heavyweight championship belt on, this all the belts. The WBC, the IBF, the WBA, all of them rolled into one. Is that holy law because of a word called judgment. And when you look up judgment, it's going to tell you to be found to be tried or found to be true. That's what judgment is, and the law is what dictates that. Whether you are found a righteous man or an unrighteous man, woman, boy, or girl. The law is going to dictate that to you. It's going to be clear on the rules of it. But with that, anybody out there got anything that on their heart, mind, or soul? Any questions, been on their heart all weekend, or well, they ain't all weekend yet, but all week, so to speak.
No, sir. So far, so
No, sir. Okay, so y'all, we're gonna go and get started with what it takes to understand this supreme law. Because within this supreme law are priesthoods. Notice the law is here. The priesthoods, understanding that the priesthoods vibe off of the law. There's different priesthoods, but that law reigns supreme. That law tells Aaron, you better be welcoming Melchizedek when it's time comes.
that's right.
That's what that law tells the priesthood of Aaron. And Melchizedek, it tells, you're going to reign when the chief high priest comes. This priest order will reign under this heavenly law for eternity. Go ahead, what we got?
Okay, somebody do got a question. They say, were we spirit before the fall in the garden, or still have these human bodies?
Well, we got part of that coming up. We're going to hit a little bit of 2nd Ezra chapter 3 for you. And we're going to get that clear. That's going to be understood. But yes, Adam was formed to be immortal. So understand that. He was never born to die.
That's right.
There was a plan B because of free will.
Right.
That he might die if he sinned. The Most High don't make us robots.
But were they asking, were we fleshly as well?
Yes, yes, they were.
Yes.
And he had a
The
fleshly
question
body.
again was, were we spirit before the fall in the garden, or still had these human bodies?
We had the human bodies, however, we were a spiritual being.
That's right.
So the mindset, so the law, statutes, and judgments were in the heart, mind, and soul.
Right,
That's right.
And there was no sin or transgression.
right.
So just like if you read in the book of Enoch,
Mhm.
I think around the 80th chapter, where he says mankind wasn't intended to have pen and paper because the law wasn't meant to have to be written down.
Yes,
It was
sir.
supposed to always be internal.
Right.
But through transgression, he had to put it on paper. You know, he had to write it down. It's just like when we always use the analogy of your mother telling you what to do, your chores. However, you get out of it saying, I forgot. But then she write those chores on a piece of paper and pin it to the refrigerator door.
Uh-oh.
Then ask when she comes back, has it been done? Same way when the Most High came into the garden. Where are you?
Right.
Did you do the chores? But he transgressed.
Yes, sir.
So therefore, everything in which we're dealing with now has come into play, and the 2nd Ezra is going to clear it all up.
Let's go. Let's get some 2nd Ezra chapter 3, and that's just to answer this question fully. It was already on the list today, so we can see the spirit is already moving. With like mind today for understanding. And y'all, this is Bible study, so you can ask any question.
Any question?
And Most High will, we're able to answer. If not, we're gonna tell you like we're supposed to tell you. We're gonna go back and study that. And that's what me brothers will do. We'll chop it up all week about it if we have to. But we'll seek it out. But by no way, shape, or form are we gonna ever twist our lips to say we know it all.
Right.
We know the route to know it. And that's the route we're gonna stay on. What else you got there before we get to the 2nd Ezra? Okay.
Wait till that one is answered.
Yeah, let me get this one answered. Okay, 2nd Ezra chapter 3 for y'all that in the Apocrypha, y'all, and we gonna get some understanding of how Adam was formed. So we can be clear on the type of flesh that he had.
5.
You started, you started, yeah,
Started 1.
started 1, okay.
I'm taking the first leg.
Yeah.
Shalom, brethren. Second Ezra, chapter 3, verse 1 in the Apocrypha. In the 30th year after the ruin of the city, I was in Babylon and lay troubled upon my bed. And my thoughts came up over my heart, for I saw the desolation of Zion and the wealth of them that dwelt at Babylon. And my spirit was sore moved, so that I began to speak words full of fear to the Most High and said, O Lord, who bearest rule, thou spakest at the beginning, when thou didst plant the earth, and that thyself alone, and commandest the people, and gavest a body unto Adam without soul, a body unto Adam without soul.
So we see that there was a physical body before, you know, because he's forming. So there's a chemical makeup of flesh here. Go ahead, bro.
5 again. And gave, I'm sorry.
Bring it out.
Verse 5, and gave us a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thine hands, and didst breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee.
So what made him come alive was the breath of the Most High.
The law.
So when we have to understand, and that's what he breathed into you, truth and righteousness. Hold that, Ray. Give me a John 20 and 20, because I just want to show the same thing, that when the Messiah came on earth, nothing changes. There's nothing new under the sun. He's the same yesterday as today. When you become disciples and followers of this Godhead, that's what's called God. The Father, the Holy Spirit, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. That's Godhead. We are trying to join that Godhead. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is to be on the side. Right. What it say on John 20 and 20? What it say?
John chapter 20, verse 20. And when he had so said, he showed unto them his hands and his side.
So this is the Messiah talking about when his body, this more or less the natural body coming back, he showed his disciples his hands. So he's letting them know, I still have the same body that y'all saw me with. It's the same body. You won't be resurrected into a different type of body. It'll be your same body, but free of the pollution of sin. If you're found, you'll be made back like Adam. Go ahead, read a little bit more of that.
Then were the disciples glad when they saw the Lord. Then,
Go ahead, down 23.
then said Jesus to them again, peace be unto you. As my Father hath sent me, even so send I you. And when he had said this, he breathed on them.
What did he do?
Breathed on them.
Uh-huh.
And saith unto them, receive ye the Holy Ghost.
See, so now they became living souls. The same way like we see in Adam. That same process go for everybody. That power to breathe the Holy Spirit on you so you can live. You cannot live without it. You ain't gonna live through eternity without it. Without its comfort. And it ain't somebody with the name initials GG or JG, Jermaine Grant. It ain't him, because he's going to the penitentiary next month. Yeah. So it ain't him, but go ahead and finish up, Elijah, let you got another.
Hit something else real quick. The Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, where it breaks down what the breath that he breathed into him is, which was wisdom.
Right.
Okay. Well, we won't have to go in. I'm gonna just give it out to you. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. And you want to start at verse 20 and go down to the end, 20 to 30.
Yes, sir.
And it breaks down what the breath of the Most High is, which is wisdom, which gives holiness unto all men, until transgression into that body.
That's right. Finish that up, Elijah, on that second F. Okay.
I'm at
In verse 6.
verse 6. And thou lettest him into paradise, which thy right hand had planted, before ever the earth came forward.
So we see that paradise was created before earth was. Before it was called forth. The city, the holy Jerusalem that will descend down to earth was created. Paradise before earth was. Because it comes from above. So it first has to be pure. So this was first done, and then it said, he leadeth Adam into righteousness. Go ahead, Elijah.
Verse 7. And unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, which he transgressed.
What you did what?
Transgressed. And immediately thou appointest death in him and in his generation.
See, he transgressed immediately. It didn't take Adam long to break the law. But the Most High already had plan B set up in case this happened. But you see, as soon as he lead him into the righteous location, he transgressed. And it say immediately. It didn't take long, but because we're talking about the day of the Lord. One day to us, I should say 1,000 years to us is only one day to him. So we have to understand when he transgressed, immediately he broke law. Y'all, this gonna be a problem always for us being the descendants of Adam called mankind. And it says that death in him and in his generation, of whom came nations, tribes, people, and kindreds out of number. Go ahead, read some more of that light.
Verse 8. And every people walked after their own will and did wonderful things before thee and despised thy commandments.
See, because you think wicked people succeed, a lot of times they will, but they despise the commandments, y'all. And you see this law is at the beginning with Adam. This is what we're talking about, a supreme law, and the word commandment is right here at the beginning of all the conversation. It's supreme. That's what I gave you. If you disobey the sacrifices, anybody go slay a bullock, get you a couple turtle doves. But obedience, a whole different level for what's called mankind. Go ahead, bro.
And not only that, you'll see that constant disobedience has been wrought in Israel from that day forward as the descendants of Adam, of that holy seed.
Yes, sir.
And it's still going on to this day. Verse 9. And again, in process of time, thou broughtest the flood upon those that dwelt in the world and destroyest them. And it came to pass in every of them that as death was to Adam, so was the flood to these.
So right here, we're going to hold it, but skip down to verse 20. Y'all read all that in your own time. We just skip it down for time's sake, but skip down to verse 20, Elijah.
Verse 20.
And
yet tookest thou not away from them a wicked heart, that thy law might bring forth fruit in them. For the first Adam, bearing a wicked heart, transgressed.
What did he bear?
A wicked heart, transgressed, and was overcome. And so be all they that are born of him. Thus infirmity was made permanent, and the law also in the heart of the people with the malignity of the root, so that the good departed away and the evil abode still.
So what happened was it said, look, the law was right there for him to do right. He chose wrong. He transgressed.
Right.
This brought death on him and everybody after Adam until the Messiah did what he did in his second coming to be found worthy again to have that breath of life breathed into you again. But at this point, we can see, you see a lot of side about Eve transgressed, but Adam transgressed the commandment of God first. There was rules he broke that allowed Eve to break rules. So even though he said, well, I wasn't there when she did it, but the bottom line is he told him, what did I tell you to do? What did I tell you? Who did I tell to listen to who?
He was first one.
Right. And so then it said, how did you grow long hair? And see, and this is what a lot of people don't understand about 1 Corinthians 11. It's not talking about a man having long hair. A Nazarite, number 6 chapter, causes you to have long hair. Absalom pulled his hair once a year, weighed 3 or 4 shekels. He cut his hair off. That's how long it grew. His growth was like this.
That's how he died.
That's how he died, got hung up in a tree. So when it's saying because a woman's hair is her glory, it says the nature itself teaches that if a man have long hair, is it a good thing? Is it a good look on him? No, because what in nature would tell a man that long hair is wrong? What in nature? See, the only thing in nature tells you that what's wrong is when the female rule over the male, like the black widow and the praying mantis, because the female lion don't have long hair, does it? The male does. So it's not telling you from that perspective about technically long hair. It said if a man's glory becomes his wife, then she's ruling. He has long hair now. Mm-hmm. His glory has become, you know, his wife is his glory.
He's given over.
Her hair is her glory. But now her hair has become his glory because she's over the top of him now. So what's her glory has now become his. So now he has long hair. That's all it's saying, y'all. It's not telling you you have to cut your hair, not to cut your life. And then it say, if her hair be short, it say, let us know though, woman, if you in that position, it would be even as you were showing, because men showing their hair. Only time women were showing their hair is if they were coming into saying out of captive out of another land, they would cut their hair off, cut their nails off. But normally it's just telling a woman, since you want to be up there, then shave your hair, because the man under Christ is his glory. So you can't bring your hair as the glory of the Messiah. The glory of the Messiah is the man, not the woman in that hierarchy of coming down the line.
And it's out of order.
And it would be out of order. So it never says a man can't have long hair. You're just not understanding the writing of the head of the household. That's all it's saying.
But if he does have hair like real long hair, he's not to put glory into it like a woman.
Not like a woman.
Fix it and
all them flipping and doing.
No, he ain't supposed to do all that. He ain't supposed to look like a female from the back.
Right. Yeah, that'd be a problem.
Real problem.
So y'all, that's pretty much from the understanding of it, how the hierarchy changed, like what Jezebel was doing to Abraham. To Ahab. She was ruling over him. She was pulling power.
She usurped authority by violence.
Yeah. So you finished that? Where you at on that?
23.
23. I just want you to read that, and then
you want 23?
Yeah.
Okay.
Down where you finished 22?
Yep.
Okay. So jump on down to verse 33 on that.
Okay.
And this is what, we're in 2nd Ezra chapter 3, and we're at verse 33, and this is just talking, bro asked the question, was Adam, did he have a body when he was made, or was he spirit? And see, that's why when I took him to John 20 and 20, when the Messiah was crucified, he resurrected, and he came back, and he walked through the door. He told him, look at my hands. Here the nail prints. It's the same meat. I got the same body. We will look just like we look now, however you die, but your skin will be like a newborn baby. You may be 80 years old when you die. You'll be resurrected at that same 80 years old, looking like that, but you will look like newer than that baby Sister Barb had right there. The skin will be newer. Everything will be regenerated. You know, and that's the form you will come back, but everybody will know and see you and know your name, who you are, so that you won't get mixed up, you know, and don't know who's who. Everybody will be who they are, and how you look. If you make the kingdom, you will come back just like you are, but supernatural, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And look, every angel that visited somebody that looked like regular people, so to speak, but you could just see that aura, you could see that power on them, and you knew they was from on high, but they looked just like us.
Just like it told me.
Yeah, go ahead, what you got, brother?
So for instance, say I'm fat.
Yeah.
I'm fat in the kingdom too.
No, if you make it, look,
That's your love for chicken. That's doing that chicken doing
look,
that.
look, your soul is, look, and y'all, this is what we have to understand. What's being judged or what you will see is what will be judged that has no fault, and it's the soul. You have to understand the flesh is what died, but the soul can never die. Its soul will be what it was manifested if everything was working right. Now, unless you just big bone, that's one thing. So you have a big bone soul, so to speak. But it will be free of, if it's not, you just not big bone, and it's something making you big bone, like a 10-piece late at night with a gallon of sweet tea
That boy loaded
by yourself. Now, so just so you understand, y'all, so that you won't be imperfect standing before him, it won't be the perfectness of your soul. Right. That's why anybody you call crazy, you hear them, the first thing they talk about is the Most High. They say, God told me to do different things because the supernatural is taking over. Satan has got power over the flesh. That's what's got them running naked and pulling off their clothes and cutting themselves. That's the flesh, but the soul of them is still 100 with the Most High, because you won't be able to get out of judgment day with that. You be like, Lord, well, I was crazy. Hell, I spent the first 20 years down on Delmore and Union and Malcolm Bliss. How you gonna judge it? But the soul is righteous. The soul, the consciousness hears and righteous. You'll walk in there as a perfect man to judgment day. It's the same way they do criminals. They put them in suits on judgment day. I mean, when they go to court, so that you're not looking like the criminal. So the soul is judged, because that's what truly makes the decision on breaking the law. Mm-hmm. The flesh is the one that says, don't listen to that, don't listen to that. And then this go ahead and say, okay, I'll do it. And once it break the law, and then what's the first thing it say? I should have followed my what?
First
your first word? See, that's not your first flesh you're following. It's your first mind. And see, so you'll be fit standing there, just like who that smart dude, so to speak, was in a wheelchair. Yeah. When he makes judgment day, he's gonna be standing up and he's gonna be looking for that wheelchair, but it ain't gonna be there. He's gonna be standing upright. Everybody in there will be in their right mind, because it's demonic that it turns the flesh this way. Just like when Messiah run them demons out of that man, that whole legion, they ran into them swine, and he was in his right what? And now he can function, because now his soul is operating. His consciousness is back to number uno. It's back to number one. He can focus now. His flesh ain't being tormented no more by them demons. They tormenting the flesh of them pigs.
Right.
That's where you get the first devil ham from.
But that's just like, just like in court, they always see if you're competent to stand trial.
Yeah, don't they?
They test your mind capabilities. Especially one who claim to be crazy or a lunatic. They tell them, they run them through psychiatric analysis and testing to see if he can stand trial.
Right.
So they know it's all about, they follow this, they know this.
They know the rule, y'all, and we get to see it in front of us every day. So what happened was, when Adam fell, that didn't technically put flesh on him of sin. It turned his flesh that was once powerful and could withstand weather, sun, all the elements, death itself, immediately switched to a flesh that started corrupt. At that point,
under heat.
Look, he
had to get under trees.
Yeah, look, it's like a new car. When you come drive off the lot, you done lost $30,000 of its value, and it's brand new, ain't even 10 hours old. But when you drive off of that lot, it's gone. Just like when Adam was told to get out of garden, it was gone. So it just started depreciating and depreciating and depreciating to where we're at, so full of sin that the Most High have to come and destroy the world and everything on it, because the flesh has got so corrupt and sinful. So y'all, we're gonna move on, because we got a couple things to cover, but it's going to cover a lot of what we're talking about now, that supernatural flesh. Your soul will be top notch. Bro, you ain't got to worry about it. You're gonna have good wind if you make it. You'll be able to sprint 100-yard dash at record speed. You'll be fit and trim. You know what I'm saying? But right now, you won't be standing there like that. He's going to show you your prime. Now, if you're a glutton, that's a law being broken, ain't it?
Yep.
That means you live to eat. You don't eat to live. Everything you see, you on a seafood diet. Whatever you see, you eat. I mean, you know, you get to the point where one pair of drawers a whole load in the washer by itself. You know you done went too far. But let's get back to it, y'all. Where we at? You finished that. 2:10, chapter 2:15, because all of it based around study, y'all. We have to study, y'all. Buddying is easy.
Yeah.
Buddy here is gonna be some wine. Buddy here is gonna be some drink. Come on, nephew. How you doing? Good. All right. So, buddy, and what that does is it here is gonna be fun hanging around.
Yep.
Eating, drinking, partying, fornication. All of the above is gonna be there. But studying puts a man's mind where he trying to be in what's called ignorant-free zone. Don't need all that static in my life.
Correct.
So I'm trying to be somewhere where I get back home the same way I left. That's all we trying to do here in this walk. Spread this word and get back home like you left. Because you keep going to places where that's happening at, you ain't gonna be around to spread this message. And that ain't what it's about. Y'all, 2:10. Chapter 2, verse 15.
Also, World Wide Web and brethren, put in your notes along with the growing old of the body.
Yes, sir.
That 2nd Ezra chapter 5, down around 40, verse 40. Chapter 5, verse 44 through the end. And it'll break down how as the earth gets older, the body and the generations of mankind become weaker and smaller in stature.
Yes, sir. Enoch 80th chapter is with.
And 2 Timothy what?
2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. And y'all, this is very important that we get this understanding of what studying is, and you don't find yourself buddying. You just find yourself hanging around. You're like a gym rat. You just like the smell of the gym, the sweat and blood, but you ain't got to fight yet. So then when a fight comes, you just, you know, you used to something you're not prepared for. You're a gym rat, you know, and that's why it's using those terms, you know, that's where you labor, but there's nothing that's taking you to the next level. So you basically just loitering in the gym. So we can't just loiter in the scripture. No loitering. You just can't hang around. You got to be productive. You got to be able to produce good fruit. And that's going to take studying this law to understand it. First being you are showing yourself as good fruit. If people don't see that, then people can see a worm coming out of there. Oh, that apple got a worm in it. We see that. Don't let no worms come out. Go ahead, bro.
All you gotta do is turn the apple over and see how the rocky side. But we forget to try the spirit because we're so overwhelmed with joy because we think we're amongst like-minded brethren. Not always so. Try the spirit. Bro, can we hit that 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 3 through 6 before we hit that?
Bro. Yes, sir.
Still on me, bro?
Yeah.
2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 3. Thou therefore endure hardness.
Do what?
Endure hardness.
As
a good soldier of Yahushua the Hamashiach. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier. And if a man also strive for masteries, yet is he not crowned, except he strive lawfully. The husbandman that laboreth must be first partaker of the fruits. You jump down.
Yeah.
To verse 15. Yeah, 14.
Go ahead.
14 with the
Yes, sir.
15. Of these things put them in remembrance. Verse 14, y'all. Of these things put them in remembrance, charging them before the Lord, that they strive not about words to no profit, but to the subverting of the hearers.
So, and this is very important because this is part of the lesson today too, so you can understand the law is supreme. The law rules over language, so to speak, and word association and etymology of a word and all of this. The law reigns supreme over that, so that every word that's being determined has to measure itself against the law. But as like we're gonna get into that. Go ahead, brother.
That's right. Verse 15. Study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh,
Right.
a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
See, rightly dividing the word of truth.
Here a little, there a little.
See, he says thy law is truth. So you have to rightly divide the law. See, if you got a situation where Deuteronomy 7 and 6 say, don't mix with nobody else, and then you got Deuteronomy 21 and 10, there's going to be some dividing with that, because one is saying don't do it and the other one saying it's okay. What are you going to do about that? If you're not a studier and a buddier, you know what you're going to say? Tampering. The Romans put that in there because you're too lazy to study and figure out, this looks like a problem to me and this the book of truth. That means I have to go to work. I'm representing this. It's like you're trying to promote a product that you don't even believe in. I'm talking about we'll believe anything other than this law of life. Negroes obey that sticker on a mattress more than they do this work. Won't dare tear a sticker off a mattress. Won't tear the tag off up in there. I mean, piss everywhere, but that tag won't be removed. Because we scared to death to remove that tag.
They ain't gonna remove no piss stains.
Right. But we'll violate all these commandments, won't we? But won't touch that tag on the mattress. You go like, don't you would die today. Don't you pull that tag off of there. I didn't know. Where you at?
Verse 16.
Yeah.
Let me hit that. But shun profane and vain babblings, for they will increase unto more ungodliness.
And vain babblings is things you can't explain. Things that the law don't. What you're trying to explain, the law has no answer for that. That's a vain babbling. It's not worthy to be judged by law. It's like where you start to quote sayings more than the scripture. Look to them and say, neighbor. That's all they know. He's good all the time. Those are true statements, but they just become a monologue to the so-called worshiper of the Most High. They quote sayings instead of quoting direction of the law and how to prevent myself and yourself from sinning. So, quote those don't mean nothing. Look to them and say, neighbor. And you know you don't, look, you had beef with this boy 2 weeks ago. Come on, neighbor. But all it does is feel good scripture, y'all. We got to get way past that in this day and hour, y'all, because craft is going to prosper. That's what the scripture said. Witchcraft is going to another level these next coming days. Y'all gonna start to see some things on the dark side, like I was saying about Adam. It said, and look, like wickedness gonna increase. It looked like we decrease it because we've been hit with a death sentence. Last one, like, give me that Ecclesiastes 8 and 8 so y'all understand about the death sentence that was put on Adam. They can create all of the plastic surgery. They can jack you up with all the Botox in America. But your soul is the age it is. And the count when you came out of that womb. You cannot reverse that date on the birth certificate. You may look younger, but that heart that's beating is that same age whenever a heartbeat starts in life, that when they know that we can call this a living being when we hear a heartbeat. That may be in so many weeks, ain't it? 8, 10 weeks, or whatever it is before they hear a heartbeat. What you got, Elijah?
What you want?
I just want to say there's no discharge in this war of death. That about 8 and 8.
Ecclesiastes 8 and 8.
Yeah. You can read verse 7 if you need to, or 6. I haven't set it up. And y'all, there's no discharge in this war until the Messiah come back, y'all. Death is on the table. And y'all, before you know it, you be gaining in and closing in on 70 before you can look around.
Yes.
I'm gonna start at verse 5. Bro.
Go ahead, bro.
Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 5.
What it say?
Whoso keepeth the commandment shall feel no evil thing.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear how law is supreme? No evil thing. Go ahead.
And a wise man's heart discerneth both time and judgment, because to every purpose there is time and judgment. Therefore the misery of man is great upon him. For he knoweth not that which shall be. For who can tell him when it shall be? There is no man that hath power over the spirit to retain the spirit, neither hath he power in the day of death. And there is no discharge in that war. Neither shall wickedness deliver those that are given to it. All this have I seen, and applied my heart unto every work that is done under the sun. There is a time wherein one man ruleth over another to his own hurt.
So y'all see, once again, there's no discharge in that war of death. It's coming. There ain't nothing to do to stop it until Revelation 22, when death and hell is cast into the lake of fire. That's when it's over.
Yeah.
And that's because of a transgression 6,000 to 12,000 years ago that we're still being held accountable for. But why do we keep doing the same thing that keep us like what's that term when you keep going back to jail? They say institutionalized.
Institutionalized.
We're institutionalized with law breaking.
Yeah.
Stuck on stupid and glued to dumb.
Oh, boy. Look. And I always tell you, well, can't nobody keep the law. Y'all don't wrestle with them. Just ask them which one.
Right.
And whichever one they chose, just take them to that one and show them what's going to happen with it if you don't defeat it. See, that's all you have to
that's
say.
what they say.
Right. Well,
They love that.
he know your heart. Yes, he does know your heart.
Yes, he does.
That's why it's a judgment day, to
No,
judge
it's wickedly
your
evil.
heart. That's what that day is for, to judge the heart of man. Y'all, so let's get right into the thick of it, y'all. So, like I say, buddying is off the table. Anybody could be talking and chanting and hollering noise when there's liquor and food around. But when it comes down to this word, hitting this word and rightly dividing this holy law and make sure you are not pronouncing sin on someone and it ain't written. Because sin is the what? So it's the breaking of the law. And his law is truth.
So I say, woe unto him that teach me and so.
Yeah. Let's get right to it. John chapter 1 and 1. What you got, Sid?
It said something about how it changes the Bible. You know, we have this thing now where you can look in this app and it changes your features where it goes from baby all the way to older.
Face recognition.
Oh, they doing it. They changing you to what you would look like if you was a woman.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I saw that.
And the women is men.
Boy.
This, we
Yeah.
have not seen wickedness on a level yet. This is just beginning.
So they're opening up the door for you to choose. Now, ain't no choice for me. That was the ugliest bulldag I had ever seen. Grandchildren was playing with, oh, Papa, look at this. I'm like, no, get that off of there. What is that?
What manner of wickedness is that?
I look like Joe Frazier with a wig on. That ain't me.
And see, these are those wicked inventions of man that Most High talk about.
Right.
These wicked inventions, man. And they haven't, they just beginning.
Yeah.
Man, because this technology is going to go to a whole nother
Whole
level.
nother level.
That Project
5G.
Bluebeam, Once we remember when we was talking about it in the 90s
Yeah,
and what it is, what they doing with it now, and they still rehearsing.
yeah.
They gonna make it to the point where it says this could fool the very elect if
Yeah.
it was possible.
If it were possible.
So you gotta study.
That's right. It's gonna wear the butt ears out. They're gonna want to be a part of it. Because what they're doing, these apps, they're getting at the consciousness of the soul. They want the soul to accept. Maybe I was born in the wrong body. Maybe the Most High is judging me wrong. No, he don't make mistakes. XX or XY. How you were born. You can try to fight it. You can jack yourself up with everything, but the DNA, your structures, is not going to allow it to work. You'll be on medication the rest of your life trying to do that. You know why? Because if a man get his manhood cut and they try to make it a wound, guess what? Because it's not natural, it's going to try to close up. And daily you're going to have to try to do things to keep it open because it's a womb, is not the natural womb of a woman.
Too much.
It's going to keep closing up on you.
Let it
So
go.
y'all, we have to let you know these
It
things that
needs to
they're
go.
on medication for the rest of their life.
You know, I'm not, well, this was where I swear years ago, there was a female that tried to be a man.
Right.
And every, once a year or every other year, it had fallen off.
Yeah.
And she had to go back and try to, this was her about 4th or 5th year that she tried to keep it on.
It ain't gonna work.
And it kept riding.
Yeah.
So to go
Wicked.
with what you were saying-
That's what the Most High set it up like. You're not going to defeat this program. You're not going to get out of judgment under no circumstance. You're not going to be born Billy and then standing at judgment as Sheila. And like the Most High just ain't gonna know the difference. Who this? Get the books out. Who is this? You know, I don't remember creating this. No, he gonna know exactly who you are because guess what's gonna be standing there? Your soul.
Testifying.
That's what's going to be standing there, and it's going to tell the decision when you had a choice to go right and what made you go left to keep thinking about doing it that way. Nature itself teaches you that. Boy dogs don't mess with boy dogs. When they sniff in the wrong area, y'all know what happened. The same with girl dogs. Every beast of the field knows the routine. What you got, brother?
You know, the law tells us that we ain't supposed to make markers on our skin. So if we get like cosmetic surgery, but that we consider.
Well, it does say, that's why we said we have to make sure we divide the way it said, make no markings on your flesh for the dead. So if you got ripped little Billy, that would be a problem. You know, go ahead. Now,
That
we
was,
made mark. That don't mean you can point. It said because it said make no marks upon you, period. Because what he don't want you to do is to say somebody else owns you. You know, so he wants you to look because there'll be no tattoos on your soul on that day. So, and that's because some people got them before they found out the truth. You just stuck with those, you know, and you'll find yourself having to explain that wretched man, that part of it, why I got that. You know, back in the day, but the soul, they can't tap the soul. See, Lucifer was told you can touch Job, you can beat up his flesh. You can jump on his children, but you can't touch his soul. That's off limits. I control all souls, even yours, Lucifer. So you don't get that power to do that. Go ahead and do what's already on the list for deteriorate. Go and handle his flesh. Beat it up all you want. And the devil was piling it on Job. But y'all, that's the flesh that's dying. When you go to the hospital and you see somebody sick, their conscience hear you because it's in good shape. If they could come back there and they say, I heard you, you know, that was a good thing, but I heard you whispering over that too. You know, I was sensitive about my short arm, and you said that anyway. I hope they don't put it up like this in the casket. I heard you. Because of consciousness here, y'all. It can take prayers. There's 100 levels of consciousness unless you get your consciousness blown out by a shotgun or something. Stick a shotgun in your mouth. You blow everything away then. Every thought process, but while they're on life support or in a coma, the doctor tell you they hear everything in here that's going on right now. They just cannot move or command the flesh anymore. And believe me, they hear some people saying, we're gonna have to take a look. No, don't pull the plug, don't pull the plug, I'll be back. That's what their conscience is screaming. They sitting there like this and don't know. And y'all, a lot of times when those decisions is made, that's why a lot of time older people say, take him off of that. If he go on his own. He quit breathing on his own. So a lot of decisions, y'all, are made because the soul is fully intact, ready to face judgment in its purest form, so you can see what you reduce yourself to. This what I became, but this is how I was formed, immortal, but this is what I became in the flesh. So we're gonna get into some Romans 7 and some Romans 8, so y'all understand it perfectly. Wait, Elijah, go ahead. What you got, Elijah?
No, I was just gonna say, you know, like sometimes when you're in a deep sleep and you can still hear people talking.
Yes, sir.
Conversating.
Yes, sir.
And you're like, boy, I heard y'all talking. I didn't know what was going on. You wake up, what's going on? Because you're in that subconscious state of mind. The conscious can hear everything that's going on.
And that's how he communicates with us, through dreams. He's not communicating with your flesh. He's communicating with your soul. This is how I talk to you. I talk to y'all soul in dreams and vision. That's how we communicate. If you try anything else to communicate with him, if you try a Ouija board, a divot box, if you try crystals, if you try anything other than what he says, how I talk to you, I ain't answering the phone. It's just gonna be a bitch.
They're gonna get the other on the phone.
Yeah.
They gonna get the wrong one on the other end.
And you notice he said try crystals, not just having crystals.
Right.
There's a practice that comes with witches.
Yeah, that's right.
Not just having it don't make you a witch.
Right, absolutely.
Because the Most High made
Absolutely.
the Most High made those stones.
But if a body of notes come with it to say,
Yeah.
use them like this.
Use it like this,
Oh, boy.
like this. You
Set
shall
them in the
receive.
sun.
Yeah, you looking to get power from it instead of the Most High. That's where you going off at.
That's where you're going wrong.
Not just having it.
Because he only compares those type of jewels to his people. And he said they're clear as crystal. And I saw it. It was clear as crystal. When he's saying, keep saying clear as crystal, it means it's pure. I can see right through it. So when you're compared to it, like when he talked about Lamentations 4, the children of Israel, they were pure. I used to could see through them, but now they clog it up, y'all.
Their hearts are clouded.
It's cloud. It's like when that jeweler look through there and look at that ring of yours. He's like, hey, it's a lot of spots in here. $12. You like, I paid $2,000 for that in K jeweler. It only worth $12 to us here. Got too many spots in it. And then you go to looking at it, you don't know what you're looking at.
Now they growing them in labs.
And now they're growing them in labs.
They grow diamonds in labs.
Yeah.
They can grow anything in the lab nowadays.
Let's get it, y'all. John 1:1. Y'all, so we understand what the holy law is and who came to represent it as a walking law. Pure, undefiled, unblemished, walked the law perfectly as an example. Never sinned one time. All this fighting over who the Messiah is over if all you do is just find one sin, your work is done. Right here, he broke the law when he said that. That would be all they would have to do. You don't have to run to Hebrews 2:15 and this book right here and say how kings were formed. All you have to do is just show where he broke the holy law. He's off the books then. He's through into the batch with the rest of us and like sinful Adam. He's right back there if he's done this. He cannot fix our problem if he's made just like us.
That would mean we have no salvation.
Oh, boy.
Huh?
Let's get it.
Book of John, chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the Word.
Was the what?
The Word. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
See, so y'all, we hear and understand this is law. His word is law. In the beginning was law. Let's get it.
Verse 2. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not.
So we see at the beginning, Genesis 1:1, we right back to the same thing. So technically we're coming out of a flood. See, most people ain't understanding Genesis 1:1 is coming out of a flood. It's the same as Jeremiah 4:23, 2 Peter 3:5 down to 8. Let us understand this. Let us not be ignorant of this mystery. The sun we're under is different than what was recreated. Adam was told to refill, replenish the earth. You don't replenish what ain't never been occupied before, so to speak. Got a new refrigerator, you don't say we need to refill it. What was in it? All right. So let's read some more. Go ahead.
Verse 6. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. He was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light. That was the true light, which lighted every man that cometh into the world.
See, it lighted every man that cometh into the world. You ain't gonna have no excuse to say I didn't get it. See, this is why it's hard when you hear people. I understand Israel got the law, but other nations have to adhere to the law. The law tells them to adhere to us as the lawgiver. It don't mean that they can't get it. If that's the case, you can't judge Sodom and Gomorrah. That was way before Mount Sinai, wasn't it? So what law are they under? I mean, why are they being judged? What did they do to be judged if it ain't Mount Sinai yet? Sodom and Gomorrah, Mount Sinai. This how far they apart. What did they do that the stench rose up, that the Most High said, I gotta wipe that clean? That can't never exist no more. So the Most High don't treat his covenant like, I'm not gonna tell you what my covenant is, I'm just gonna give it to Israel, but I'm gonna judge you by it. He's merciful. That's not merciful. In Psalm 83, when he say, I bring storms on them, verse 16 of that Psalm 83, that they may repent and know that I'm God. That's why, see, they ain't gonna believe what, they don't want to believe what y'all tell them, huh? I tell you what, I'm gonna give them something that's gonna make a believer out of. When you see something swirling 140 miles an hour and it's 5 miles wide, and you see it's picking up things, that you know a crane, I'm talking about throwing trucks like they Tonka toys. What you got, Theo?
We're telling us that we're a nation of kings and priests.
Yeah.
Priest to somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna have to understand what priesthood you're under. It's gonna be one of them. But the law never, ever changes. It never, ever goes away. It's permanent. It's what you're going to have to adhere to in the kingdom.
The Constitution of the kingdom.
It's the Constitution of the kingdom. Best way to put it, bro. Go ahead. What we have in that John?
Verse 10.
What it say?
He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came unto his own, and his own received him not.
What did his own do?
Received him not.
Okay.
But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believed on his name, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. And the word was made flesh.
What was the word made?
Flesh.
So y'all think about these laws being formed into a human being. See, if you look at it from that perspective, we're visual people, y'all. We would almost have to have a slideshow for you to kind of understand it because of all the stuff out there on Facebook and everywhere, all of the different doctrines. You need to visibly see what these words are speaking because they life. Go ahead, but read some more.
Verse 14 again. And the word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth.
Full of what?
Grace and truth.
See, you have to understand what word is full of grace and truth. That's what the law is. The law always offers a way for you to fix your wrong. That's righteous. That's mercy. It's grace. It gave David grace. David was supposed to have been put to death when before he ever hit Bathsheba. He should have been put to death, because once they told him, oh, that's Uriah the Hittite's wife, that's your top general. At that point,
It should have been off limits.
it's off limits at that point. But when he looked at his soldier, said, is she happy though? We don't know. Go get her. Go get her.
But he had already held a census before then.
Right. So David was doing some things that we have to constantly understand, that what the Messiah came, David didn't come in that fashion. The Messiah came in 1 Corinthians 15:51. There's a different types of flesh, celestial, terrestrial. We are terrestrial. He's celestial. It's two different, the heavens born up there, created up there versus how we were created down here. Same flesh, but just a different take. It's like they can make the Chrysler 300 look like a Rolls Royce, but it ain't. It's
Rolls Royce.
it may be shaped just like it.
You said until one pull up next.
Hey, look. Or till you have to get the oil change. You don't change the oil on Rolls Royce. You don't crack the hood open. Like manner in understanding this law and the righteousness of it. You ain't got to pop the hood on it. You ain't got to check nothing when it's righteous. But when it messes up, you're gonna be all checking time now. You're gonna have to stay on top of it. You got to stay on your health. You got to stay on this. You got to try to maintain this dying flesh so it don't crash out on you. But it's going to the ground, and your soul is going to judgment. Let's read some more. Where we at?
Verse 15.
Uh-huh.
John bare witness of him and cried, saying, this was he of whom I spake. He that cometh after me is preferred before me, for he was before me.
For he was what?
Before me.
See, John has no problem understanding this. He was preferred before me because he is before me. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And of his fullness have all we received, and grace for grace.
See, grace ain't new in the world, but grace is what gives us a chance to get it right. Noah found what?
Grace.
How far back was that? That was before Sodom and Gomorrah, wasn't it? Right. That was before the flood, wasn't it? Noah found grace. It's always been around. Yep. Because ain't none of us worthy after what Adam did. None of us. None of us is worthy to receive the blessing written. Let's read some more.
Verse 17. For the law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came through by Jesus Christ.
Is this saying any difference? The law came by Moses, so do we look at the law now like it has no power? What he's saying is Moses couldn't give you grace.
Couldn't bring you to salvation.
He couldn't do it. If that was the case, we would have never had to have Deuteronomy 18th chapter. For a prophet is coming of your brother. You better listen to him.
Him you shall listen to.
Joshua said when he took off his shoe, the captain of the host of the Lord's army pulled them shoes off. Joshua understood it. Moses just gave you what was given to him. But when Moses tripped and said, shall we give you water, and hit that rock? Lord say, speak to the rock and water come out. What you hitting on it for? Who you trying to show you mad? Water came out. Water come out just like the Most High say, I'll let you do evil and you'll prosper in evil. But the end thereof. And Moses couldn't go to the promised land that he was shown. Look at it. Take a look at it. Don't it look good? Yeah, it look good. Now get up there and die.
And a whole different mouth.
I'm talking about in good shape. Eyes were not dim.
Nope.
Strength was not abated. Get up there and pull the plug.
Him and Aaron both.
And did Aaron the same way. Court-martialed Aaron. Get out of the court. Get out of the police.
Stripped him.
Well, Eliezer, put these on him. You don't deserve what y'all did at the waters of Meribah. It actually tells why they were put to death. Because of that transgression. But because of grace and mercy, guess who showed up at the Mount of Transfiguration, Matthew 17 chapter? Moses.
Right. So that was grace right there.
That's grace. Even though a transgression put that flesh to death, and it had to go for those transgressions to equal yourself with the Most High. You're not part of this Godhead yet. Yet, I say. Go ahead, bro. Read some more.
Verse 18. No man hath seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, he hath declared him. And this is the record of John, when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, who art thou? And he confessed and denied not, but confessed, I am not the Christ. And they asked him, what then? Art thou Elias? And he said, I am not. Art thou that prophet? And he answered, no.
So this is John the Baptist. They raking over the coals. Are you the Messiah? Are you Elijah? Now you got some of these camps out here hollering that John was Elijah. They'll go to another scripture. That script say he came in the spirit and power of Elijah. He's not Elijah here. He telling you himself. Well, he didn't know he was Elijah. Well, he didn't know he was that prophet either. Or if he was the Messiah, then you got to include that too. How you gonna just pick the part out you want? See, he didn't know he was Elijah. What about, was he that prophet then? What about, is he the son of God? He didn't know that either. He's telling you, no, no, no. Now, who do he say he is?
Then said they unto him, who art thou? That we may give an answer to them that sent us. What sayest thou of thyself? He said, I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness. Make straight the way of the Lord, as the prophet Isaiah.
And said the prophet.
As said the prophet Isaiah. And they which were sent were of the Pharisees.
What were they of?
The Pharisees.
See, this is Israel's problem. Israel. This is Israel's problem. See, it's the Pharisee trying to ask, who is you? Shit, this the boy about to stop this money from flowing. This the paper chaser in there. Who is you? Because that's what they were doing, hustling. They had a buddy system going, ain't been seen, boy, since, boy, look, Gomer Pyle. Any of y'all know about Gomer Pyle? Some of y'all a little older. Gomer never got promoted.
Yeah. It was a private, the whole
The
show.
whole show, and that's what these camps will do to you. They'll make you a private, won't elevate you. You be a private forever.
But private.
But private. They ain't got no, you were brought in as your buddy level, put you at buck private. Can't let you elevate. They can't trust you to blow the skin. Gomer Pyle. Go ahead.
The Pharisees, Levites, or they just
Levites mostly.
They were mostly Levites, but they were also the politicians of the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Yeah.
They were like the
Jesse Jackson.
Jesse
Louis
Jackass
Farrakhan.
and Al
It's split into
I am
just
shocked.
like political is split into two right now.
Yeah.
Pharisees and Sadducees.
Yes.
Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah. Same thing.
Same
yeah.
thing.
A house divided. Go ahead. Where you at on that, bro?
Verse 25.
Uh-huh.
And they asked him and said unto him, why baptizest thou then, if thou be not that Christ, nor Elias, neither that prophet?
So we see it's three different individuals, right? Thou not the Christ, thou not the prophet, nor you Elijah. Why do them camps only point you to one direction? He's Elijah. He just didn't know it. He's saying no to all three. See, y'all, and when you leave pieces out like this, That's deception, because you want them to look one way. Just look the way we're showing you. Just go this way. That's trickery. That's how easy it is to make you focus on one thing, and you got two staring you in the face. It's like 3-card Monte. Watch all the cards, y'all. Don't just keep chasing that one. He's slick how he slide that other one through.
But deception is only accomplished through ignorance.
That's right.
So you have to study. Most of the people that go to the churches, they bamboozle because none of them study. I mean, the most basic of understanding in the scriptures is dietary law.
But notice
Some of
what
them
the
are
last
basic.
word you just said. Dietary what?
Law.
See, their dietary is all the new names. The keto diet, the Bobo diet, the skillet diet. Have you tried the Daniel fast yet? That's a new diet. That ain't got nothing to do with dieting. That's what Daniel had to do to save his life, as well as the servant of the king who was guarding him. He went on a diet to save lives, not to look good in a swimsuit, not to have a six-pack. Huh? I don't know. You ain't tried that Daniel diet yet? Well, you say you want to get rid of the keg, look, I'll get you a six-pack. I'm just messing with you, brother. Go ahead. Where we at?
Six-pack might be the problem.
Right. But understand what they want to do it for. The diet is so you can walk around and let everybody admire your decaying flesh and worship it. And I want my flesh to look like that. But it's dying. Why don't you want it to look immortal? Let's read some more. Where we at?
Verse 26. John answered them, saying, I baptize with water, but there standeth one among you whom ye know not. He it is who cometh after me is preferred before me, whose shoes latchet I am not worthy to unloose.
So we can hold right there. Give me right John 17:5. Because what we want to hold as far as, see, John was in his right mind, right? I mean, he's clear on the rest of it. If John is off one point and he don't remember, all of his words can't be taken as gospel.
Right.
You can't try him if you're saying he didn't know he was Elijah. What do you mean he didn't know? He wasn't supposed to know.
I've never seen a prophet mentioned in the scripts that was sent on a mission and didn't have a clue of anything,
Of who he was.
let alone what his mission was.
He ain't in there, is it?
Haven't seen one, yet to see one.
He don't know who he was supposed to be.
Who goes somewhere and don't know what they do?
So at the Mount of Transfiguration in Matthew 17, when Peter asked, should we make 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Elijah, and one for Moses? So none of the disciples said, that ain't Elijah, that's John the Baptist. He had too. That's what you would have said, right? So who was Moses then? If John was Elijah, then who was Moses currently then at that time? No, I'm saying that it would have to be somebody that's currently amongst them for them to be ready to identify him, but they didn't identify him as such. Y'all, but that's how fast that trickery to get in there to pump reincarnation.
And then it allows them to say that they are reincarnated of someone for trickery purposes. Anytime people using a script as their scapegoat, or they have a hidden agenda. And that hidden agenda is usually that they are trying to set themselves up as a Messiah.
How you gonna say John the Baptist didn't know who he was, but you know who you was?
What? What's common sense, ain't it? See, but like bro always say, common sense ain't common to most.
You said John chapter 17.
Yeah, 17:5 is me to back it up. Y'all, this is just starting verse 1. What we're doing is just proving the Messiah was the walking law, and his law is supreme. He represented what cannot be broken, what cannot give, or you can do that will make you worthy enough to walk in the kingdom. Because in Galatians 3:28 it say, if there had been a law for righteousness that could have got you in the kingdom, we wouldn't even be talking about Melchizedek. We wouldn't even be talking about the Messiah. All you would have to do is do that law and you get in the kingdom. But it ain't one. It is one, but like I say, most ain't preaching. It's the Messiah. He's the law you got to keep. There ain't no other way around it. You can't get to him just, well, I'm just going to ask the Father, man. Look, I know it's his son, man, but you know, me and his son don't get along too well. You gonna stand before
What daddy doing for that?
And the one you're talking about that already told you, well, I gave Junior power at the judgment day. You still gonna have to talk to him. So I gotta talk to him. He ain't never walked in my shoes. See, he don't know nothing about.
But see, that's a wicked heart already. Yeah. It ain't getting in.
It ain't getting in.
Because it's already kicking against the pricks. And it's just denying.
Go ahead, bro.
All right, John chapter 17, verse 1. These words spake Jesus, and lifted up his eyes to heaven, and said, Father, the hour is come, glorify thy Son, that thy Son also may glorify thee. As thou hast given him power over all flesh.
Over all what?
Over all flesh. That he should give eternal life to as many as thou hast given him. And this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true God, and Jesus Christ whom thou hast sent. I have glorified thee on the earth. I have finished the work which thou hast which thou gavest me to do. And now, O Father, glorify thou me with thine own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was.
See, that's why I want to hold. See, this glory he had before the world was. He was at the Godhead when earth was being created. You got to quit looking at him like he just showed up 2,000 years ago. Like this his first existence. Go ahead, bro.
John 1:1. If you go to Proverbs 8:22, it'll answer John 1.
Yes, sir. Also, we're gonna go there and we're gonna hit this Proverbs 30:5. And while we're there, get that Proverbs 8:22 we spoke of as well.
Get that,
while y'all in Proverbs.
That 35. That's Psalms 119.
Which one you want first?
140.
Yeah, we start at 17.
Which one you want first?
Proverbs, go 8:22 and then hit that Proverbs 30:5. And what we're talking about is a perfect individual, y'all, that was tried like we was. Y'all, but what we're talking about is willpower. We're talking about the willpower that you have before you have to be broke down to nothing before you quit. You could have been quit. Look, you can quit while you're ahead or you can quit. And what that means is the police get you 3 times. We caught you selling them drugs 2 times. Next time you ain't gonna be so lucky. We're gonna put you away for life. You thinking because I done got away, or I'm invincible. Now I get caught for this 3rd time and they make you quit this time. See, you're forced to quit now. So you quit while you're ahead, give all that up, or you can quit and they will make you quit. And then you, like on what's the show where the boy's sitting up talking about the boom boom room? Life. See, it's life. Your whole life now, all you talking about is how good I had it out there, but this is the result of that life. Sitting here talking about what I used to do that got me here in this position. Ain't nobody talking about I raised my children, I went to school, did the education, I served the Most High, and they sitting in there like that. Ain't no discussions like that going on with them on a consistent basis. What you talking about, boy, I used to run, man, Mr. G's Cuddle Shack, boy, I was the man up in that. And the rest of them talking about what they did. All of the sinning that got them in this hellhole, and they smiled. Next thing you hear, well, the lights out. Where we at? What you got, sis?
So, in essence, Yeshua taught us how to get and keep control over our flesh.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, with that being said, if you're not, with that being said, then when we say we believe in Yeshua HaMashiach and we follow according to him and to his laws, doesn't that mean that the word is written in our hearts that we do take pleasure in obeying the law and obeying the will, obeying the way? And wasn't the scripture says if you don't have control over your flesh, you should put a knife to your throat to some extent? It's in there.
Well, we get into Romans 7 and 8 on that too. Yeah, that's what it's speaking of. We're gonna get into that heavy of understanding that, but when it says you just can't control your flesh, it's called lasciviousness. It's basically uncontrollable desires. They're at a fever pitch. They're all driven by flesh and laws of the flesh. See, because this society teaches you what to do with your flesh. Walk around with your flesh displayed.
It's all about the flesh.
Right.
That's why the Most High said, come out of her.
Right.
Because it's a fleshly world.
Yeah.
He wants us to be in a spiritual world.
That's right.
You gotta fight to get about your flesh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before the order of the most, put your flesh to rest.
See, because you're not even looking at your flesh, you're trying to control things from the spirit. You know, so because you know it's just ain't gonna work. The flesh is going to die. There ain't no discharge in the word. Keeping this word 100%, it does not erase that death sentence, that war of death coming to you. It does not erase. Even if you hear when the Messiah come back, you're still going to die. They're still going to die. It's just going to be transformed so quickly, like in a twinkling of an eye. They say, like a quick blink like that, you'll be back in an immortal status. The deal is, what side of immortality are you on? That's the deal. You going back to immortality.
Whether it be for a glorious sake or torment.
Let's hit that Proverbs. Was it 8:22?
Hey, I'm gonna start at 17.
Okay, and then we hit that Proverbs 30 and 5, y'all, and then I want to get right into.
You got that Psalms 119, 140.
Yes, sir. I got all that right there. See that? Okay. Yes, sir. You know what I want. See, that's what we're talking about on that same wavelength that somebody identifies. It's the spirit that moves that do that. While we on this subject, brother, are you doing that? You going? Yes, that was already on the list. See, you're on the same way because we're going down a path. Same way. See, so that tells you if we're buddying or if we're studying. Because it's already on the lesson list that spirits are in tune now. They locking in. Everybody locking in. You're getting online. You're getting online. So we in tune with the lesson. Go ahead, brother.
Proverbs chapter 8, verse 17. I love them that love me.
Go.
And those that seek me early shall find me. Riches and honor are with me. Yeah, durable riches and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold. Yeah, than fine gold. And my revenue than choice silver. I lead in the way of righteousness, in the midst of the paths of judgment, that I may cause those that love me to inherit substance, and I will fill their treasures. The Elohim possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old. I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. When there was no depths, I was brought forth. When there was no fountains abounding with water, before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth. While as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he set a compass upon the face of the depth, when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep, when he gave to the sea his decree, that the waters should not pass his command.
That the water should not do what?
Pass his command.
Do y'all know the ocean know how far to come on that sand?
Yes.
It's commanded. Just come up and go back. Don't come across unless I give you a commandment. Go in there and get them out of there. Go wash that. It'll come in there and wash that and go right back to where it come from.
All this flooding in the Midwest, that's by orders.
That's what it's become.
That's by orders. They can sandbag all they want.
Yeah.
Notice it ain't really affecting us in our areas.
Right. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, bro. Yeah. I mean, it's cool
land
in
is
showers.
ocean.
You'll see some may get caught up in it, but if their life is saved, it's letting them know. Hebrews will get caught up in it. If your life was spared, it's letting you know you better start to look up. See, and what that does, it forces you to look up.
Yeah.
You have to look up and Dad, Lord have mercy. Ain't no Negro jokes being told. Ain't none of that, man.
None of that.
2 niggers were at the water fountain. Lord have mercy. No, ain't none of that. Go ahead. Where we at, bro?
Verse 29, when he gave to the sea his decree that the waters should not pass his commandment, when he appointed the foundations of the earth, then I was by him as one brought up with him, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in the habitable parts of his earth. And my delights were with the sons of men. Now therefore hearken unto me, O ye children, for blessed are they that keep my way.
That do what?
That keep my way.
See, all of that was telling you, bringing you up to this point. Now look, and then he said, does not, back again at 1 Corinthians, does not nature teach you certain things?
Yeah.
You know, so we watching the sea, man, why won't it go past the sand? It's so deep. But it's under orders. Everything obeys the Most High except who? Man. It's old rotten flesh.
You say Tobias.
Oh, go ahead, bro. You
Verse
finished
30
that?
Verse 33, hear instruction and be wise. No, verse 32, hear therefore, hearken unto me, O ye children, for blessed are they that keep my way. Hear instructions and be wise, and refuse it not. Blessed is the man that heareth me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the post of my door. For whosoever findeth me findeth life, and shall obtain favor of the Elohim.
See, and that's what you want, favor, because you can, it's without works lest any man should boast. So it's got to be favor.
Come on.
You know, all your children, you love all your children, but it's one you favor. He loves all, because if he said it grieved his heart to destroy the world, that was include even Cain and his lineage, because it's still his creation, but his favor is Israel now. So we have to understand that. That don't mean he don't care about them. If they go away, then your promises go away. Prophecy cannot come to pass. Everything has its purpose and time and place for us to understand. If everything get wiped out for you, then you will be your own servants. And that's not written. That's why we're going to get into some things of what the Messiah say about this law. Go ahead.
That verse there from 30, what you said.
Yeah.
32, no, 33. That's happy, and he was happy, fortunate, and envy, favorable. That word favorable, right there, that's blessed. And Jesus said, everything is in that blessed. Look like if you know the definition for blessed or blessing, which includes the favor of the Father and the commandments, which is favor with the commandments. Even. We want that.
Yeah, you want it. You want it. But we like favor of this world. We want this world to recognize us. This world to talk. That's gone quicker than a fart in the wind. Gone that quick. Oh no, not everybody.
Yeah.
What you say, boy? Some
Invisible
boy say you walk in, boy, it's visible, huh? You be like, what's that gray cloud?
Just ain't moving, just sitting there.
Well, yeah, that's when it got to the point of lasciviousness. The wind can't drive it away at that point. Go, y'all, let's get caught up.
Verse 36.
Uh-huh.
But he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul.
What does he wrong?
His own soul.
So y'all, we're not worried about the flesh. It's wronging your own soul, your soul. This flesh is going back to where it came from. It's that soul that Satan wants you to corrupt. He has to have you do that because he knows that's what's standing judge. That's where he gonna be standing at judge. He ain't never repented on record yet. Say, never. Ain't never said I'm sorry about what I did. Matter of fact, he said, I'm mounting up another. I'm going for round 2. I think I can get it with your other new creation.
And then even gonna go for round 3 after the 1,000-year millennium.
Sure is, boy, look. You talking about Terminator. He dead man walking. What he care about us? Do you ever think the devil gonna do anything good?
So he went to his place, perdition.
You can't never try him to think he's gonna be on your side.
He's already appointed a habitation forever. Perdition. Ain't no change in that when you're already appointed to perdition forever.
Judas Iscariot was said he went to perdition. That means straight from the grave to the lake of fire. Perdition.
Straight.
The Antichrist is called the son of tormentation. So you think he coming here to help you out?
He know his role.
He gonna help you. Just take the mark of the beast. I'm telling you, gonna eat. I don't know what kind of God that is y'all serve. Let y'all go through famines consistently. Abraham has been through a famine. Isaac, James 12 tried to been through a famine. What kind of God is that? I'm gonna let you eat. Just put this mark on you.
Yeah, he gonna help you temporarily.
Yeah,
This your wristband.
right.
To all the eating and drinking you want.
You get it some spam and ham hock health. David.
The running type.
Yeah, boy.
Running type. Oh. Called Lucy.
A be good. Oh, you saying like the good witch and the bad witch? Still a witch.
Nonetheless.
White lie or black lie?
Still alive.
Still a lie, ain't it?
Still transgression.
Still transgression, y'all. Let's get it.
All they that hate me love death.
All they to do what?
Hate me, love death.
You love death. That's why Paul is trying to break down in Romans 7 when he's saying the law killeth. If we have to keep making laws for your bad behavior, don't you know laws are created for bad behavior?
Right.
He said the law.
Y'all wasn't no fringes. Abraham didn't wear fringes, did he?
Nope.
No, and the reason I'm asking is because when was fringes created? Or what was they created for? For the man doing what? Picking up sticks. So now the law kill it. So what the word say, if we catch you picking up sticks again, what's gonna happen according to the law? You're gonna be what? Killed. K-I-L-T, killed. The law killed it because you won't obey it. What you got, bro?
That's why we had to, he had to bring forth a new order, because not even the imminent threat of death was enough to keep us from saying.
We was getting past that, y'all. Y'all look at the world
I
today.
mean, look at us now.
Look at us now.
It's
They
like
can-
death has become a trend for us, a fad. We
What-
wear
what
death
movie?
like it's a cloak.
Close, don't we?
Yeah.
What movie y'all done seen? They ain't never told you the outcome of the movie at the end, and we still want to be. How many of us watched Superfly when it came out? No, there's no retirement plan, but the devil trick you and say, aha,
You can do it.
you gonna be the one.
You can do it.
You can do it.
There's a song out right now, I forget the singer, and someone brought it to my attention when they brought it to my attention. And it was telling the people that they're going to die, and she was pointing to the people and telling them, this is your end result.
It's a song.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of songs in here that say the same thing.
It was this is, somebody's. And, told the people that they're going to die and told them their end results and what they would do, and they were smiling and singing and dancing to it.
Yeah. That's how we look at the law now, because we're taught every day that it has no power, that it means nothing. Excuse me. Creflo said, you don't even have to keep the big T. But yet he punished his daughter when she rose up against him.
Wore her out.
And told her I didn't want to hear it. Put
Went to
down
jail.
law so hard on her that the police came and put him in an orange jumpsuit. He's got him a
Domestic.
photo now.
Yep, domestic abuse, child endangerment or something.
But see how the law end up punishing him because he don't want to keep the law of the Lord. Also, we'll punish you with your law, with your child in. Mr. Teach the people not to keep the law. See, if we don't keep the law, then there's no judgment. Because where there's no law, there's no transgression. That's Romans 4:15 say.
Romans 2:11.
Yeah, but they're not into it. What they're doing is make you void of judgment day. That's what law is. Law requires judgment, either for the good or for the bad. Ecclesiastes 12. Everything gonna be brought in. Every idle word, every good thing, and every what? Bad thing. All of it's coming up at judgment day. It's not picnic day. It's not he's just hanging around and, oh, they're Abraham and Moses. I'm gonna go over and chat with him. He's like, by the way, you know, when you stole them 3 cars, I was gonna put you to death, but I did. That ain't happening there. That's gonna be at judgment day when your soul's standing there. You get if you ever had a near-death experience, you just read about all near-death experience. The only thing they see passing by them is everything that would cause them to go to the lake of fire. You see when you stole that car, see when you snatched that purse, see when you crawled through that window. All of that flashed by, and that's why you said the first time you wake up, I'm going back to church. I'm going back to get the law. I want to get right. What I seen scared me, but how long does it last?
Temporary.
Temporary.
Perfect
Next time
example is
thing
that
go
movie,
past your eyes.
Minister Society at the end. After all the dirt that boy did, and now he got shot up, and all his events were flashing before him.
Right.
And he said, and the question that his grandfather asked him, do you care whether you live or die?
He said
And
he
then
didn't know
at
at
the
first.
end, he said he didn't know, but now he
At the end,
does. But
he
it's
said,
too late.
yeah.
But at the end, he said, yeah, but it's too late now. You got to give up the ghost.
Give it up.
Well, witness to that is Romans 2, 2nd chapter, verse 12. Where it says, for as many as have sinned without the law shall also perish without the law.
That's right.
And as many as have sinned in the law should be judged by the law.
That's right.
Whether you don't keep the law because you feign ignorance or whatever, but just don't want to do it, or you do halfway, which is called lukewarm behavior, doing the laws you want to do, you still gonna have the same judgment.
Because nature teaches you the law if there's nobody.
Right.
You're gonna learn how to plant crops because of the seasons. They're keeping the law, which allows you to eat. If the elements didn't keep the law like they were supposed to, you wouldn't be able to eat. But you know when to plant. You know when to stop planting. You know when certain things grow. You know when they don't grow. You know all of these things because the law commands trees and all of the other things to obey. Because you're technically in charge of them. And look, the ones in charge of all the land is the one that's breaking all the laws. You're causing the ocean to break its laws. You take all the catfish, what that's gonna do for the tilapia and jack salmon? Why we keep seeing that they throw lobster and crab up there and this what you ought to be eating. Oh, by the way, we got some buttery biscuits too. Know y'all like them biscuits. But crab legs up there look like they got 10, 11, 12 on. And then they changed the name to make it sound better. Calamari. It's still octopus.
Octopus.
Regardless
How you call it. Let's get caught up, y'all.
but you know, even Proverbs chapter 20 says that a child even know right from wrong.
That's right.
That even understanding the law, but even they know what's right and what's wrong.
Children that had parents that had strict law, They always had company. Because other children want that law too. When you ain't getting law, you're lawless. You're looking for something to get into. And what the streets offer is flesh law. That's all they do. Pretty up the flesh. Give up the flesh. Where we at? Proverbs 35. Let's hit that, y'all. We're gonna move right through here, y'all. I got some scripts I want to get so we can get some good understanding. And y'all, we're gonna clear up some things about, and this gonna help with both sides of when people are wrestling with Paul letters. Because all Paul is talking about is serving a law of the flesh. You're trying to prevent what's gonna get you killed. It's like when you hear everybody say about sovereignty, I go chase that law because I get out of speeding tickets. Is that it? You opt out of assistance from the captor your God put you into, that he told them they have to make sure you do right or he gonna punish them. But you opt out of that just not to pay a ticket. You still got to go to court though. It ain't like you can have them plates on your car and they pull you over and they're like, sir, forgive me. I'm sorry as an officer of the law to stop you, and I saw those sovereignty plates, shame on me. No, they're gonna give you a ticket and they're gonna say, be at court at this day to prove your worth. And what's gonna happen if you don't show up?
Warren.
What y'all saying?
Warren.
Okay, what does warrant mean?
Lock up.
We coming for you.
So you chase that when all you have to do is put on your seatbelt. If it says stop, stop. Do 35. It ain't like that law is that law is trying to prevent you from killing your flesh. But you're telling your people, you gotta obey these crackers' commandments. God tell us what we can do. We only to obey him.
Christ said, obey the law of the land.
And then on top of that, they give you 5 miles grace.
Look,
Yeah,
but
they
it's
give you
it's
grace.
because you're behind the wheel of a 2,000-pound vehicle that'll kill everybody on the street. It's saying 35, you do 35, that means 3 car lengths behind the car in front of you. That gives you enough time to stop. But you're trusting, and you got this new Lexus 3015 with the seismographic airbags. I just made up a bunch of stuff. But you're trusting in more of that, then that means you're looking to run into the back of something and watch it blow a boom and you say it.
That means in your conscience, you've already broken the law. You already got law breaking on your mind. That I got this souped up car so I can break the speed limit law.
Yeah.
I'm doing certain things so I can deliberately break the law and challenge the authorities that be.
Yeah.
Not knowing and not having full understanding that the Most High God has set up these kingdoms so that he can destroy them. But if you ain't gonna obey the laws of the land, you ain't gonna obey the laws of the Most High.
Look, because who else gonna give you? Ain't no Hebrew print presses, is it? Is it a Hebrew print press that print these? Huh?
No.
Is it?
Yes.
I'm talking about to print these. I'm talking about on mass production.
Well, it was here, I don't know, but it's a company, one by Hebrew called the His Bible, got the, kind of like the Sefer, but it got the pictures of it.
No,
we're talking about King James.
We're talking about the word of God, not when we're talking about on mass production to move this one out of the way and set that one into production on a mass level that to go to the 4 corners of the earth. That's what we're talking about. It's one of them in every hotel room. See, one of these is everywhere you might see it. The problem is when you open that bottom drawer at the hot sheet joint, why do you slam it closed quickly? Truth or not?
Because that ain't what you there for.
Now, if it was a blunt or some money left in there, it'll stay open. But when you see this, one last look, there it is.
Because now your conscience, because the conscience tell you, oh, now you shut it so fast because now you put on the spot. Now you have to make a conscious decision. Am I getting ready to do all the freaky things that I was intending to do when I came here? Or am I going to abide by the law?
Right.
That's why you shut it so fast, because now you're convicted. Your conscience is convicted.
Right.
Truth.
Instead of saying, oh, well, look, you forgot yours. Here's one right here.
No, that wasn't the intent.
But Satan know what it is.
And that's what he does. That's his ace in the hole. I put it there.
Always.
We put the word out there.
He did the Messiah, Matthew 4, didn't he?
Yeah.
What did God command you? What did he ask Adam? What God command you? What did he ask Eve? What God command you? Slam that drawer shut. Let's have some fun.
Yep.
Where we at?
Proverbs chapter 30, verse 5.
Don't nobody want to get a room now.
Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 30, verse 5.
What it say?
Every word of Yahweh is pure.
It's what?
Pure.
Uh-huh.
He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. Add thou not unto his word.
Do what?
Add thou not unto his word,
Uh-huh.
lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar.
Be found a what?
A liar.
Uh-huh. See,
Two things,
go ahead, you got some more of that?
2 things have I required of thee. Deny me them not before I die. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me, lest I be full and deny thee.
Lest I be fool and deny thee.
And say, who is the Lord? Or lest I be poor and steal and take the name of my power in vain. Accuse not a servant unto his master, lest he curse thee, and thou be found guilty. There is a generation that curses their father and does not bless their mother. There is a generation that are pure in their own eyes, and yet is not washed from their filthiness.
See, pure in your own eyes and ain't washed from filthiness. Cup washed on the outside, but you don't wash the inside.
Don't have to do the law.
Don't have to do the law.
You saved by grace.
You're saved by grace. It ain't never said that, but we're gonna get it, y'all. Let's speed it up because we gotta go try to get out of here on time today. Let's get right to it. Psalm 138th chapter. And y'all, this is when we're talking about the law, y'all. When you're understanding this law, nothing supersedes the law. Everything has to be based and judged by the law. When you're dealing with language, and we got a lot of these new doctrines popping up now, word etymology and what's the original language in Hebrew is better than this. He just said every word is pure and is not to be added to. And that means don't add nothing to it. Don't take nothing away from it. Because you will be judged accordingly if you do by the same law. If this law tells you you can eat meat and somebody else tell you you can't, you don't have to believe them. If they're telling you that this meat may be hurting your flesh, you may need to slow down on it, but you can't give it as a commandment for a whole. Especially if you say we didn't eat it beforehand. We didn't do a lot of things before Adam sinned, did we? And how long was it that we ate lettuce? Because it said he sinned immediately. You didn't even get a practice in to see what it's like to eat righteously.
But I like to see the script where it says he changed our teeth structure
No, it ain't in
to
there.
accept meat after the transgression.
No, it ain't in there, Elijah. It was already set up from the beginning because he always does plan B. Already, I had the Messiah already planned. He was already instructed that he's gonna come and straighten out Adam's mess if he slip up. Know the end from the beginning. You're gonna have to do this, son. If he slip, you're gonna have to get this. I got it, Pops. Ain't no problem. Let's get it. Where we at?
Psalms 138.
Yeah, all of that.
I will praise thee with my whole heart,
Half my heart.
with my whole heart,
Only on the Sabbath heart.
with my whole heart.
Go ahead.
Before the gods will I sing praises unto thee. I will worship toward the holy temple and praise thy name for thy loving kindness and for thy truth. And thou hast magnified thy word above all thy name.
See, so truth and word keep showing up together. I have magnified my word above all my names. What does that mean? So why would you get in contest with somebody talking about you ought to say his name like this? You have to say Ahai. You have to say Yeshua. You have to say how I was. If you don't say Jesus, his word is magnified above all his name. If you never mention his name, you can still keep that law though, right? Because all you have to do is mention the law as his name, which it is.
Revelation 19:13 says his name is the word.
That's what his name is. So all you have to do is say, who you speaking of? The word? Oh, the mighty Redeemer you speak of in his law, statutes, and judgment. Those titles going to always apply to the law. If you speak in tongues, there's a law that tells you what you're supposed to do when that gift comes on you. The gift is not bigger than its instructions. If you speak in tongues, it better be an interpreter there, or you better hold sides. Is anybody holding sides? No, they ain't, because they do it out in public. Just you can be talking and speaking word, and they'll just go into speaking in tongues to try to fool you. Shalom, Shama, coming in a Honda. 3 Cadillacs. You like, what? She's speaking in tongues on you, God with it. Where's the interpreter? That's all you have to show is the rules of the law will stop all of the debating. Debating is caused when the rules are not put on the table.
Right.
That's when all debates start. It starts with dominoes. You got 2 houses before they realize through all that liquor that you done got 5 and got on board. It's 15 to get on board and 10 thereafter. But you can't change it at that point. Every dreams have laws. Sirach 34th chapter tell you this is the order of dreaming and its obedience while you're unconscious. Can y'all understand that? There's law for you while you're unconscious. If you dream and the devil come to you and tell you it's okay for you to go in that man's house when he go to work and his wife died. In your dream, you may try to accept that the devil coming, but you got to tell it this: the death. He bringing death. Right. That man to kill me. Well, oh, but it is a dream. I won't die. I ain't gonna be dead. I just wake up from it and he kill me.
And then I'm gonna try to get that dream again.
Then I'm gonna try to get it again and get it again.
And then you're gonna try to manifest it in the flesh. You ain't just gonna stay in that dream.
You're gonna be seeking that woman out.
Let's get some up.
Verse 3. In the day when I cried, thou answered me and strengthenest me with strength in my soul.
In my what?
In my soul.
See, y'all, this is where the strength has to be, but we're so, I guess, infatuated with the flesh. That's all they show is the flesh and how to corrupt it. Mark it all up. Cut it all up. Mar it all up. You'll be accepted by society.
Look at it now. Man, I ain't never seen tattoos taken to this extreme.
And they got one show on now. You can tattoo somebody, but they ain't got to tell you what they finna put on you. Now, how far you gonna get from now? I mean, you actually signed a contract, the paper chasing and got to this level, you sold your soul, that you can just, and they tattooing you on your rear end and everything. You know, you just
I saw 2 girls about
bent over and
they tattooed some crazy stuff on each other and didn't know it until it was time to reveal them. And one,
I mean, how you gonna be mad when that's the rule? The rules didn't say you have to stay in line with governing of righteousness of the Most High. Well, if that was the case, you wouldn't even be there.
Boy, they was putting some, man.
And I seen some people tattoo their eyeballs.
Yeah, they doing that.
That's what they doing now.
They doing that now. They injecting ink into the whites of their eyes to change the colors. I mean, it's gone to a whole nother level.
See, it's
And then
going
they put
to
piercings
darkness.
all in their faces, and I saw an old lady, a lady, she had to be well in her 60s, beyond 60s, and she got new piercings all in her face.
She got what?
Piercings all in her face.
Yeah.
Earrings all in her face. I'm like, what the? What's that, Jerry?
See, it's one thing if you don't care about the flesh because you should care about the soul. But they call destroying it respect. See, they become lovers of their own selves. And they do things to do to the Most High's body. Like right now, you can just sign. They can't ask you what you are. You tell them what you want to be. Gender, what they calling it now, gender assignment.
Now they got where you don't have to put the sex of the baby once it's born.
Yeah.
Give it time up
Let
to
it decide
4
on
months.
its own.
For
Let it
4
decide on
years,
its
and
own.
it can decide on
decide
its
on
own
its
what it
own.
wants to be. But no longer on the birth certificate do you have to sign the sex, male or female. They say at the age of 4, they should be allowed to determine what they want to be. in their
Let them
life.
see the right cartoons, we'll know what that is.
Right.
'Cause
Let's get it, Chuck.
crazy. Verse 4. All the kings of the earth shall praise thee, O Elohim, when they hear the words of thy mouth. Yeah, they shall sing in the ways of the Elohim, for great is the glory of the Elohim. Though the Lord be high, yet hath he respect unto the lowly, but the proud he knoweth afar off. Though I walk in the midst of trouble, thou wilt revive me. Thou shalt stretch forth thy hand against the wrath of mine enemies, and thy right hand shall save me. The Elohim will perfect that which concerneth me. Thy mercy, O Elohim, endureth forever.
How long?
Forever.
See, mercy endureth forever. See, y'all have to understand there will be mercy throughout because none of us is worthy. And if you look, when they talk about clear eyes, it's clear, his eyes are clear. You can't see through the eyes, but if you look at like B. Hood's youngest back there, those eyes are so white, they look clear. You look at a lot of us, it's a lot of work looking at our eyes. Some of us, our eyes is looking like a flashlight. When you know the battery's about gone, you keep doing it like this and clicking on again, you get about 2 more seconds. Just yellow when you look at that, you be like, it's almost gone, ain't it? Yellow all around about up in there. See, but even though the whites of their eyes are, they're white as snow, it's just letting you know the pureness, the innocence in a child.
Yes, sir.
That's what the kingdom is like.
Pure
That pure innocence. Your eyes have to be clear of that. You can't have spots all in there like that and think you're gonna get in there and be looking with them spots in your eyes because you're gonna be looking for that same flesh look you used to look for back in the day.
no blemish.
No blemishes. Let's get it. That's
Oh,
it
no,
on that? That's all I
to
want.
finish 8. I'm gonna just read all 8 again.
Okay.
The Elohim will perfect that which concerneth me. Thy mercy, O Elohim, endureth forever.
Right.
Forsake not the works of thine own hand.
So what we want to do right now is because we're using, or basically the law is showing that it supersedes everything. Every gift has to obey the law. Paul, 1 Corinthians 13, he say, I can give to the poor. I can give all my belongings. Though I speak with all these tongues, if I have not charity, I'm doing it. If I have not the law from that perspective of why I'm giving, I'm doing it in vain. You could be set up on high and just give money, not because it's the right thing to do, but because people are looking and you need to be able to say, well, I give to charity. No, it's not as simple as that.
That's being spirit.
It's got to be in your
cheerful
soul and
heart.
heart that it's going for the right purpose that you're doing. It's like, what's the one with Wesley Snipes when he took over the apartment building? New Jack City. You sell heroin 364 days a year, and then you give out turkeys on Thanksgiving to all of your victims. Come tomorrow, they got to pay for all them turkeys. So that's what it's like when you're trying, to do this law from your own perspective. And you're trying to fool somebody that I'm doing right. The law will decide, and it tells you how to tithe.
Yes, sir.
Sus was speaking about earlier about tithing, where they're saying you supposed to tithe. The law say you are supposed to tithe, but there's a priesthood that you learn the tithing requirements according to the law. You can't do commanding tithing anymore. You can't be commanded to give tithes anymore. Hebrews 7 chapter. That was under Levi. They couldn't work. You were forced to give 10%. It was commanded. So that meant everybody still had to have a job that day. And now the new order is you give upon increase.
Every 3 years.
But to have increase, you got to be somewhere producing something.
Right.
You can't be a dead Jacob and produce nothing, or you'll never be able to give to the poor that you have, which you always, and the poor don't mean begging.
No.
Two different lifestyles. Poor means I'm working. I got 3 children and I only make enough for one.
I'm just not ever never able to make the ends meet.
But I'm
However,
working.
I'm consistently working
I can give
to
something.
better my situation for me and my offspring.
And you know what else that's doing for them? You know what they do with them tax dollars? They put them in a place so that those who are fatherless and widows can get some money.
Right.
It's the same system we had at home. It's just running by different people. The system of the fatherless and the widows still was set up in Jerusalem. It was the welfare system then.
Always has.
It's always been for the women and children. Man was commanded to work. Genesis 3:17. To provide. So that's why he don't get in that listing. But it's always been for the fatherless and the widows. Not widowers, but widows, when they have no more protection over them to take care of them, which is the man. Then we set up substance for them
Because
so they can get by.
man was always required to work.
But now we done made that substance, we done turned that up. Do you know they had to shut down a strip club that they had an ATM there, they was getting money off the food stamp card at the strip club? The government looked up and they say, we got collections here of 30,000 in one night at Jazzy J's strip club. I mean, it's going to that level, what we are doing with the help of the system, so to speak. That's where we're going to. We done made a hustle out of it. So now, instead of assistance, it's become your livelihood.
Yeah, because now you got young sisters wanting to make babies just to make their to get more benefits on their card. But they don't care about the man being in the picture.
Right.
Because the whole thing is he got to stay out the picture so I can get all my benefits.
That's right.
And set it up so that he has to pay child support, they get taxed.
Yeah.
If they get them benefits.
And the flip side of it, a lot of them women who started out doing that 20 years ago, them kids grown. You ain't getting no more benefits.
What you gonna do?
So now they out looking.
Now they're
Right.
trying to trick
Right.
somebody else.
And you ain't looking the same as you was 4 children ago.
Looks done faded.
That leopard don't wear the same.
Looks done faded real bad. You ain't getting top dollar no more.
No, boy, you come in, look like a wrestler up in there. Where we at? Boy. Let's get it, y'all. Psalm 119, and why I'm going here, y'all, this is as we're going through different phases of what has to adhere to the law, we see spiritual gifts. We see they adhere to the commandments of the law. We see the nature adheres, the oceans, the sea, all of that adhere to the law. Animals adhere to the law. So now the alphabet, which is Psalm 119, that's the Hebrew alphabet. But it's the alphabet in deeds and righteousness. It's not the alphabet for you to know, you know how to speak Hebrew and you put it on somebody. The problem still gonna be, you keep calling English the bastard language, you still explaining your Hebrew in the bastard language. How are you gonna give it any power at that point? I mean, does it make sense? See, man, that language ain't no good, man. It's actually a bastard language, man. Well, why you keep explaining Hebrew to me in the bastard language? Get another scholar up here that can explain Hebrew to me right here. Y'all speak it clearly and speak it in any other language that I can hear. But it's an oxymoron to say something that you use 90% of the time is no good. And you say it's because of word etymology. It's not because of word etymology. It's because of how you accept things according to the law. You can get any website, look up holy. It'll have two definitions. Every word has a minimum of two definitions. One is always going to be spiritual, and the other one will be on a carnal level. Like holy, look it up. Worthy to be referenced. Worthy of worship. Do you think when he said be ye holy, that meant for us to look at that first definition like that? Worthy to be worshiped? Then somebody need to tell the angels, because they always tell people to get up. We brother. Can't worship me. Worship Yah. Now the second definition of holy. Completely devoted to one's deity. Can we be that? Yep. According to the law. Because we don't want to violate calling ourselves God. And have somebody worshiping us, calling us Lord and all these different things and worshiping us. You done made yourself the first definition. You in violation of the law. So you have to know word association according to the law. The law don't work for word association. Like pleasure. There's a righteous pleasure. In Hebrews 13, the marriage bed is undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers is all pleasure, ain't it? Yep. You think an adulterer is frowned up and ain't enjoying? It's not pleasure. I mean, it may be 2 or 20 minutes, but it's still pleasure. But it's wrong pleasure, according to the doctrine. Righteous pleasure is everybody know who y'all are and why y'all going into that room. There's no problem with the book that's in that dresser drawer. When you're husband and wife and you go into that room, what that book mean to you? Right. It's just gonna help you out and confirm what you're doing. But if you're on the other side of pleasure, then it's a problem. Then it's a problem for your pleasure. That's your pleasure. Isaiah 58 is talking about your pleasure. Because if you just look at that and don't look at it, you can't speak your words. What does that mean? Right. So you can't say nothing unless you just quote the Bible. You know that ain't what that's saying.
But when you don't study, you don't know what it's saying.
What we're going to do with this Psalm 119, since it's the alphabet, y'all see every verse in Psalm 119, longest chapter in the Bible, it has 8 verses for every letter. But it's not just learning the letters. It's knowing the letters and what they consist of. We're only going to read one verse in about 6 of these, and y'all read the rest of them on your own time. But we're going to see what verse 1 does with all of these letters of the alphabet. See if the alphabet is making the law work for it, or the alphabet has to work off the law. Let's get it. What it say? Give me that Psalm 119.
140.
We're going to start at, where we starting at?
You started,
let's start at verse 1 because it's alien. All we want to do is just all we want to do is just hit the first verses of each one of these. So jump to verse 9, you know, if you look at, because most of them are, I don't know if y'all Bibles are like this, but like mine, it shows the first one, Aleph, And then when you get to verse 9, it starts with bet and so on, every 8 verses. But what we want to do is just get to the first verse of each one of these letters, of the Hebrew letter, so you'll know Hebrew. Look, you can know all of that blemish language you want to, because it only goes back as far as the Phoenicians and Sumerians. It ain't going back to heaven. Can you prove it's the language of the God? Can you?
I like to see that one.
Yeah. So what we want to understand is, let's read verse 119 and 1. Who got it? That's you, Ed?
All right.
Oh, is that you, right?
It don't matter.
Go ahead.
All right, Psalms 119, verse 1. Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of the Lord.
So what gets us a blessing? 2 things: undefiled and walk in the way of the law.
It means living it.
This is the first letter of the alphabet. You can know all the Hebrew. We can say these quick slang: barakatah, 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 barakatah. But
It's more than that, okay?
right. But if I don't know this, all I know is quick sayings and phrases. It's just like the church. Neighbor! That's all it is, just a form of Hebrew. Neighbor!
Because the bottom line is, even though you may know those sayings, you still, if you're saying it amongst non-believers or those that are unlearned, you still have to interpret what you're saying.
Yes, you do.
It makes it vain babblings.
Yeah.
So I choose not to, not to say that it's not part of our heritage. It's a part of our heritage, but it's not benefiting us any at this point and stage in our lives, in our existence. It benefits nothing to, our advantage outside of us exalting ourselves above another brother and saying, I know another language and you don't.
Right.
But
That's what it's all about.
how far can you communicate with that?
Right.
You still have to interpret at some point. Because what if the brother whom you were conversing with don't know all the extensive Hebrew language that you claim to know? So at some point it gets cut off and you're going back to speaking English. So what was the purpose in the beginning?
You can't only speak Hebrew and wake up the lost sheep.
Yeah.
Because they lost.
Because they lost.
They don't know Hebrew.
They don't even know the law.
So y'all, we're going to read the first and 8th verse of we're going to do the first 5 letters of the alphabet. So y'all can see what the beginning and the end. I'm Alpha and Omega. You're going to see beginning and end. So you hit verse 1. Now hit verse 8 of that.
All right, verse 8.
Uh-huh.
I will keep thy statutes. Oh, forsake me not utterly.
See, I will keep thy statutes. The beginning is how I prosper is with the law. So you see the beginning and ending of the first letter of the alphabet. What's entailed to understand Aleph?
Law.
You can quote it or you can say it in fine Hebrew tongue. But if you don't know it, if you don't know it in spirit and truth,
And indeed,
it's just like a child singing his ABCs for them. Go, Junior, go. Sing your ABCs for Uncle Earl.
or a man beholding himself in the mirror.
C-D-E, won't you sing with me? Everybody clap. And then they say, now point to the letters of your name. You know the song.
But that's true.
M-A-N, M-A-N. That ain't your name. That's your nickname.
We deal with that all the time. How many Hebrews have you run into who just regurgitate the same old foolishness that they hear with no understanding whatsoever, and they can never point or prove to you anything that's coming out their mouth because they just rehearsed a saying from someone else? Or just like you heard the Muslims say it's tampered with.
Yeah.
And you ask them, prove it. I had a brother ask me that. I said, prove it. And then I asked him, is that something you heard or is that something you know to be fact?
Something you heard.
Eventually he said, it's just something I heard.
Yeah.
So why are you going around spreading a lie?
Y'all
A
see
rumor.
that? About the Bible, because he really is something because he don't understand law. he thinks it's making his lifestyle bad.
Exactly.
What you got, bro?
People say that it kind of gives them a nerve when they can't prove it in scripture.
Yeah.
And, plus you have people who will say that the Bible been tampered with. And I say, well, if they tampered with the Bible, they did a piss poor job. So it goes against everything they talking about.
Well, what we've been doing for years is asking one question. Show us where Exodus 20 been tampered.
Right.
If the Bible is tampered with, Satan has to tamper with the law first.
Yes.
All of the other stuff you can do, all that's child play. If he's going to tamper, he's going to tamper with the instruction manual that gets you home free on Judgment Day. But has he ever tampered with the law?
Never
Has he ever came to anybody, even asking the Messiah to get Job and tell him, I will get him to break your what? Laws. He asked the Messiah
About law.
about law. The Father said, if you throw yourself off this cliff, angels will bear you up. Messiah come back with law. Shouldn't tempt the Lord. Never.
If you go through Matthew and see in chapter 4 where he breaks down everything that Satan questioned him about, he returned according to law, and everything that his answer was is written in the Torah,
That's right.
in the first 5 books. You can go back to them all, Exodus and Leviticus. They're written in the law.
Next letter, Beth, verse 9, and then hit verse 16.
All right, verse 9.
See, and they're going by 8 verses, each alphabetical letter. Go ahead, bro.
Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way?
We talking about cleansing your way. Go ahead.
By taking heed thereto according to thy word.
See, by taking heed according to thy word cleanses your way. A crystal ain't gonna cleanse your way.
That's what would make you a witch. If
A
you look
rabbit
into the
foot
crystal
ain't
to
gonna
cleanse
cleanse your way. How's it a lucky rabbit foot? There's a rabbit out there with 3 feet.
Right.
He ain't lucky. He ain't lucky at all.
It's about
Go ahead, bro. What we at?
Verse 16.
What it say?
I will delight myself in thy statutes. I will not forget thy word.
See, you see at the beginning of an Alpha and Omega, at the beginning of every set of 8 verses, what's ruling and reigning supreme?
law.
Now, if anybody teaching you that don't exist no more, or you don't have to care about that, move away from them as fast as you can. It's a serpent. It's the only object. But look, let's put it like this, it's worse than a serpent. Because Satan at least offers you the commandments and then trick you. We got to the point that where now we don't even mention the law. Oh, you ain't got to keep that, boy. Let's get the next one.
Verse 17.
Gomer.
Deal bountifully with thy servant, that I may live and keep thy word.
That I may do what?
Live and keep thy word.
Let's get the last verse of that, verse 24, or that 3rd alphabetical letter of the Hebrew.
Verse 24.
Uh-huh.
Thy testimonies also are my delight and my counsel.
See, the testimonies are my delight. If you find yourself constantly have to struggle and battle the law that kill it or me, every time we got to create something new because your behavior just keep going worse and worse and worse. See, now the law killeth because it has to say, put him to death. The only way the law stops that if you stop being put to death, your flesh, and which gonna end up put your soul to death. Let's get the next letter.
Dalet, verse 25. My soul cleaveth unto the dust. Quicken thou me according to thy word.
Quicken thou me according to thy word. According to the law, the only thing that quickens you and makes you prosper, like David said in Psalms 1. When I keep thy law, then thou shalt prosper. See, so if you say you prosper when you tithe, well, tithing is a law. There's a law for tithing. Since Aaron priesthood no longer exists, you don't follow that priesthood that applies to that law. There's a different priesthood now that tells you how. The tithing law ain't gone. It just tells you now how to apply yourself to the new priesthood of the same exact law. The only difference is going to be on your own consciousness to know free will, that should I give something other than to be seen of me. Do I pop a 20 out in front of everybody? What you finna do with that, brother? Give it to the church over here. See, they lying, Lord and bless me, dog. See, these Andrews and Benjamins, ain't no thing. You understand what I'm saying, these brothers? I do that like that. That's what I do.
I know some people that I grew up with that'll be robbing you at the surface.
Right. That's what'll happen. But when you do it to be seen of men, it's not charity. The law don't allow you under Melchizedek to do that. It's free will, and it's been free will. Think about it. In Genesis 30, that was a free will tithing that Jacob made. He said, if you will be with me, Lord, if you will protect me, then will I give a tenth of all that I have. That wasn't commanded. That was a vow made, a free will vow. But it was still tithing, wasn't it? He said tithe.
Gave tithes
Abraham gave tithes
to
while
Melchizedek.
Levi was still in his loins. He gave him all the spoils of the war. You can have all that. I don't need none of that.
I'm good.
That go back for that. Lord already done blessed me. I don't need nothing else. This has to go back. Oh, make sure you pay them people that helped me, them soldiers that rode me. Now they got to get paid. They was giving their life for this. Pay them. I got a lot and all that else. It's cool. I'm good with that. But that's already been in the earth. That form of tithing under that priesthood. But the law of tithing is the same, because it says you have to never, ever forget to give, because you may be poor. And it's not saying give to beggars. It says to being poor. The poor you have with you always. There's people under what's called the poverty line. You working a job, you got 4 children, and you only making enough for really the child that's 6 months old. You ain't making enough for them to be delivered. You just making womb money.
But he working.
So you can give to that. That's what the system is set up. But if every time you look up, your hand shaped like a cup, and you lying, will work for food.
Hey, I got some love.
Got some. Boy, I'm so glad the Lord must have sent me here. You with this sign, I got this truck, and I got some heavy labor work over there. But the old lady done cooked. So you gonna eat. Matter of fact, you can just eat till you get full. He'll flip that sign around. Psych. Look, do you got any spare change? Can you spare, brother? Shalom, bro. Let's read some more. What the next lesson? Did you finish that one?
Verse
96?
32.
No, 32. I'm way over
What do you
there.
have for you got?
I was just checking to see if y'all was paying
Are you
attention.
checking?
Verse
Go ahead.
32. I will run the way of thy commandments.
I will run the way of what?
Thy commandments. When thou shalt enlarge my heart.
See, that's what enlarges the heart, running the way of the commandments. And when you hear any preacher say the law is done away with, and then we're going to see what the Messiah said about law and the prophets. They work hand in hand. Prophets have to obey the law. Mm-hmm. There's a way that you prophesy. Mm-hmm. Let's read the next letter.
Okay.
Verse 33.
How's it pronounced?
Okay.
Hey.
Mm-hmm. Teach me, O Lord.
No, just saying, hey.
Okay.
Teach me, O Lord, the way of thy statutes, and thou shalt keep it unto the end.
I shall keep it unto the end. Go ahead, that verse 40.
Behold, I have longed after thy precepts. Quicken me in thy righteousness.
Do you see how the law is the final analogy of all of this? I'd rather have obedience than sacrifice.
That's right.
You can sacrifice. Hell, a Muslim don't eat pork, but they eat shrimp.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Sure do.
And they worship another God.
And another God. That's the main. That's off the top.
Do they really doing it?
But they're worshiping another God. See, they just playing with the Bible. See, they saying we take away from it. It's been tampered with. So we add our book to it.
And then they reduce Christ to a mere man.
Yeah.
A prophet.
Let's hit the next one, y'all. We're gonna move on because I want to be close on out by the 4 o'clock hour. So,
Wow.
where we at?
Verse 41. Let thy mercies come also unto me, O Lord, even thy salvation according to thy word.
See, the salvation has to come according to thy word. Salvation has come according to the law. See, and this is the battle in here. And you can't tell them, y'all want heathens to be up in there. It says salvation according to thy law and thy precepts. Ain't nothing we can do about Isaiah 56, 7, 8. We didn't write it. Ain't nothing we can do about Zechariah 14. We didn't write the law of what the Feast of Tabernacles for the whole world gonna be like. We didn't write if they get disobedience, they get no rain. Who you think that's talking about? Israel coming up to see Israel, or just talking about the other nations?
We didn't write where he says, after his resurrection, go and preach the gospel unto all the creatures of the earth.
Where we at?
Verse 48. My hands also will I lift up unto thy commandments, which I have loved.
Which I have what?
Loved. And I will meditate in thy statutes.
And I will meditate in thy statutes. See, the law tells you, do not kill. The statutes break down what that means. See, or it's a contradiction with Ecclesiastes 3:8. Exodus 20 say, thou shalt not kill. Ecclesiastes 3:8 say, there's a time to what?
Kill.
Is this contradictory in the Bible? Huh? Why wouldn't it be?
Of kill, and the statutes that apply to kill.
But that ain't gonna come by buddy.
No.
What that's gonna come by? That law completely, because if you don't, it's you gonna say it's contradicting itself, and the first thing you're gonna say, oh, that verse been tampered with.
You've been tampered.
Right, right.
Tobias, why you on your head, man?
Where we at?
Verse 49.
49. What's that Hebrew word? Letter.
Zayn.
Zayn. Zon. Somebody was saying they butchered them damn. They butchered them up.
Zayn.
Niggas don't know no Hebrew.
Oh, man, we're gonna get the kingdom now.
Verse 29.
Look like Zane to me. Look like if he had an R, it'd be rain. Go ahead.
Remember the word unto thy servant, upon which thou hast caused me to hope.
See, he asked the Lord to remember thy word unto the servant. Remember the law you wrote to us, to your servant. You can't, Lord, you ain't gonna go against that. That's why, look, if you don't look at this like when you go to court or lawyers defending you, they're not trying to defend your bad behavior. What they're doing is showing the judge if what you did, if they're accusing him of this law, in this case, it was found judge it to be right. Your Honor, you remember Roe versus Wade, when such and such did. Sister, you know, but if you just try to push something back, see, I just feel, Lord, you know, when you say, I mean, judge, when hell, it say without prejudice, hell, what was I think that's supposed to mean? See, if you sign any document in court,
Bailiff, take it.
look, you sign your name, and then under that, you can sign without prejudice. See, but you have to know what that means before you go in that court. And the judge asks you, and I see here Willie Earl Jackson, what does without prejudice mean? I don't mean
I'm cool with white people.
That ain't what it means. That means I can't be prejudged because the language that's in here, I don't understand it all. You know what most of them do? Case dismissed. But you better know the language. You can't go up in there hollering a habeas corpus and talking about 3 brothers, the Bloods, and killed down there in Crip Hoodville. That ain't habeas corpus. Them some corpses from some gangland fights. That's not the law. They have a different law in court. It's called, you can look it up, Black's Law Book. And you see all of the language is different from what we think the language is or ought to be. The same as this word. It tells you what law breaking is. You can't decide what law breaking is. Or not be drinking that devil's juice. That's the devil's drink. This wine
And the devil didn't put in on this.
And I'm sober, right? Well, it can lead to drinking. Becoming a male or a female can lead to fornication. So growing old can lead to sin. Can't it? Once you get of age and you ready to rub shoulders, that can cause sin, can't it? But we can't say that's against the law. Unless somebody tricking you and you don't understand the law. Yo, this is what we're going to see consistently. Never let nobody tell you what the law means. It has 4 sides to every law. Every law, because it's dealing with every situation a man could find himself in. How are you going to tell a man, the law say flee Babylon, and I'm locked up on a free case? Do I then violate that law, or do I start finding out how I can escape from Supermax? Huh? How do that law apply to me? So now we got to relook at the law, because we can't leave nobody behind in none of our captivities. We ain't never left nobody. All the doors to the jail open up. Hell, that's what they even did when they come here. Do you know Columbus and them was thugs and thieves and robbers and hoodlums? They let all the prisoners out of London jails and they came over here. Do y'all, all of them was criminals. They opened their jail doors up. Y'all get out of here.
Thought they was putting them on a death cruise.
So in like manner, this nation will have to do the same thing. The jail bars got to open. It can't be left for you to fend for the law and you're handicapped. Because you know what you're going to say at judgment? Lord, I was on lockdown. You know it was a free case. And you left me there. How could I flee the wrath that's coming to Babylon? How could I flee and I'm locked up? See, but if you don't think about that, crew, that's the first thing we ask people about the flee doctrine. What are we going to do about the free cases? We got a Negro who police and put down a free case.
One Negro told us, hey, that's on them.
That's on them.
That's not
See,
right.
so you getting locked up is on you. So Joseph getting locked up was on him because he wouldn't take Pharaoh's wife and commit adultery with her. Daniel thrown in the lion's den, that's on him because he wouldn't eat the king's meat. That's on him, huh? See, when you hear that type of advice about the law, get away from that individual. Because that individual on one point of the law that serves his own belly. Mm-hmm. And it's set for destruction. Yep. Let's read these next 2 letters. Where you at?
I was at
Verse 57?
Check.
Oh, yeah, 56 of that.
Yeah.
Zane, go ahead.
This I had because I kept thy precepts.
See how they keep ending up every verse? It start off with the law and you keep the law and you learn the letter. This is what the Pharisees couldn't scratch. Now they was speaking pure Hebrew, wasn't it? The Pharisees, but they were looking at the Messiah. They like 12 years old and he knows his letters. Nicodemus came to him. He was a ruler in Israel. He said, I don't know how you doing that. The only other thing I can say, you got to be from God.
Yeah.
We talk a little Hebrew noise around here, some shittish, you know, some different things, but it ain't the pure language. But you know your letters. We never had that around here. You know your letters. And Messiah was out. He said, I'll explain Aleph to you. You explain Beth to me. What they do, just looking at it.
Does not answer.
Does not answer because they don't know. Who is that whispering in the movie theater? Boy, y'all better not go with them. That's the type of whispering they doing.
Everybody get kicked out of it.
Yeah, where we at?
Check.
Yeah,
57.
we'll do this one, y'all. We'll move on really quickly because I want to get
You know how you
less.
pronounce it?
Check.
Yeah.
And y'all, Sis
Gotta let it
Barr,
roll off the
yeah,
tongue.
Sis Barr studied Judaism, so she understands that language for 15 years or better. But she was missing that commandment and who the commandment keeper, who the law was, and the order of that priesthood. All of that learning was under Aaron, or those who sat in Moses' seat. The Pharisees weren't even doing what Moses was doing. They was making up their own rules. They just act like they were sitting in Moses' seat, but they was making up their own rules on the fly.
That's why Ezra cleansed out the Levitical priesthood.
That's right.
Cleaned out the registry. And
Verse
Christ
6.
had to come in and
Fix it up.
fix it all up.
That's right.
Verse 57.
How you pronounce that, sir? Check.
Okay, okay. They do it. I got sunflowers.
Okay, read it, brother. 57.
Verse 57. Thou art my portion, O Lord. I have said that I will keep thy word.
See, it keep coming up to what your promise is to him, that I will keep your testimonies, your judgments, your law. That's an oath you making to the Most High. You have to keep your oath with him. How you gonna keep his words and then you go studying somebody else's doctrine? You just slip back into Egyptology. You into this form of doctrine. You all out of space and you joining up with groups. You got a clergy coalition going now.
7 more demons worse than the ones you had cleaned up prior.
Where we at?
Verse 64. The earth, O Lord, is full of thy mercy. Teach me thy statutes.
Teach me what?
Thy statutes.
See how the letter begins and ends? Constantly with, I have to know what you require for me to dwell around you. Because anything opposite is you think you can speak fluent Hebrew and that gonna get you into the door?
No.
Paul said, I speak more language than y'all all. If I could speak 5 words that you can understand in whatever language you rock it, then 10,000 you can't. I just need you to understand with minimal words. Y'all read all that on your own time, y'all, but y'all see the rest of the alphabet. Then y'all understand why he's saying I'm Alpha and Omega. Every one of these letters have a beginning and an ending to that letter. So there's nothing we missing in these 66. We got our Hebrew alphabet right here, don't we?
Yes, sir.
We can train from here, not from phrases. How about that? How was she in? Baraka Pop. What y'all learn?
You just
Pick
stop
that
it.
up on purpose.
You just need to stop it.
Right. But I'm just saying, what did you learn but a phrase?
Yep.
It's basically a greeting phrase.
It
See,
don't go like he said.
if we don't study this word like we're supposed to, word etymology would overpower us.
Right.
Like saying, if you say good morning, that means saying good death. Because morning is death. Well, we got a problem with the first 6 days of the Bible. And the evening and the morning were what?
First day.
And it was what? Good. So now either good is bad or that scripture been tampered with.
He said,
But you got it for 6 days. There ain't no other word on another side that you can go to the law that it says morning is bad. Before you accept language and saying, I'm not supposed to say things. Well, you just told me don't say morning in English and explained it in English. So what should it say? Oh, the morning, the evening, and the dead were the first day. Is that what it should say?
Crazy.
Is that what it should say? Morning is what it means, because now you're going to be in violation of Job 38. When the sons of God saw the world being created, they shouted for what?
Joy.
Joy. If morning means death, they wouldn't have been shouting, they'd have been crying, wouldn't they? Etymology don't supersede law. Never.
And then he said everything he created and it was good.
And it was what?
Good. So everything created had its specific purpose. Even the swine is good in his eyes because it has a specific purpose to cleanse the sea or to cleanse the earth.
But it's not good for food.
It's not good for intake.
It's
in our body.
Not food. Like moonshine is not gasoline, but it'll run a car. It start out like this, and you may get halfway down the road before it just cut off. Pork will do you the same way. You will eat it up and you'll be smiling, and 20 minutes later, you telling everybody what happened. My head is swimming. Oh, give me some more of that. Get my aspirin. You know what I need.
Got worms.
Because you're making it work. You're making it food. The Bible says it's not food. It's a trash compactor.
Yes, sir.
It's designed to keep filth off the earth so that you can eat the righteous fowl or whatever food on the earth that you're able, that's on the list for you to eat. They have to do their work. Like lobster and shrimp have to do their work in the ocean. How you gonna have a fish tank and have algae eaters in there and them ain't number baby catfish? Now you clean you worried about more about your fish tank than you is your fish tank.
Your temple, which is of Christ.
If you eat up all the catfish and they got us eating it all up, tilapia is going to die because it's going to start eating doo-doo for food, which the catfish and the lobsters eat. When you get a whole pot of them, when they showing you and pouring that butter over and trying to make it look delicious, all it is a plate of doo-doo.
You are what you eat.
It's just like chitlins.
You are what you eat.
I mean, it is. I mean, we savor it, don't we? Hide it from people.
No.
You actually start putting names down of who know how to clean it the best. It ain't about who know how to clean the best. You can't clean it. You can't clean it. It can't be made clean because she used garlic and onions, and sometimes she put turnip bottoms in hers.
We just asked what the Most High said, can a man make himself clean? No.
I don't care what you put in it. It's unclean. It's not food. Can it be used as a football? Yes. See, some people go to the law and say, that's why I quit playing football. Because the other school over there, they use leather skin football. We had the pig skin.
But what about a badger then?
Right.
See, so we can keep going around if you don't understand what a specific purpose is for a law. Badger skin covered the ark like brush feet. That's the most holy relic that ever hit planet Earth. What is the weasel family? Its fur doing covering the ark.
Now we ain't supposed to eat it. So it's an unclean animal to us to consume.
Look, Ezekiel 16, he shod us in badger skin shoes.
Yes, sir.
How you gonna talk about you can't wear no pig skin sandals, but you got on badger skin? Well, if anybody saw you dressed up, nigga, I know you ain't got on them forbidden gators. You rocking non-laters gators against the law? You need to pull them off.
Dangerous animals.
Somebody gonna get you out of your snakes and lizards?
Eel skin, ostrich skin.
Boy, you can't have one leg pulled up and showing some shoes that ain't dangerous now. It's the standard bearer. But it was always the standard bearer. It ain't never changed, y'all. It's why we like those dangerous animal shoes. Lizards, gators, snakes.
We've always been decked out clean.
Always been decked out, but it wasn't food. You couldn't go down to Sular Market and say, give me an alligator. I need to make some shoes and do some fine dining. Don't work that way. Anybody saying anything out there? Let's keep it moving.
Where we going next?
Y'all, we got a couple more. Y'all, we're gonna get on out here. Let's just wrap it up in Shalom, Ben.
Shalom, Ben.
Romans chapter 7. Y'all, I'm gonna give y'all some things to write down because I definitely want sis to get on her class today at a decent time.
Hey, put that Psalms 119 verse 140 in your notes to go with that Revelations 19:13.
Yeah, we got that revelation right here.
I'm finna go and put them all over.
Come on, a little bit.
Okay, but first, before we hit that, I want us to get to the understanding of what the Messiah said when he came. Give me Matthew 5:17, and then give me Revelation 19:10 and 11. We're just gonna jump, like we're gonna come back to it. Well, I got it on start and final, so we're gonna end with it too. But give me Matthew 5:17 so you understand what reigns supreme.
That's right.
See, y'all, if we argue the law with people about keeping it or not keeping it, you can't dwell with him. Can't nobody keep the law. Y'all don't go into arguing, just ask them which one. How hard is that? Which one? See, they already saying you can't keep it, so they must have some knowledge of what it is if they're making that bold statement, right? Which one? You can't keep it.
Most of the time, they just trying to call your bluff.
Right.
They don't know.
Look,
They hoping you don't know.
right, and that's when they go to the Lord, know my heart. See, that's the problem. That's what we're trying to get to. How he's gonna know your heart according to the law.
But another one they leaned on Dan is the fact that there was only one person, which was the Messiah.
There was one what?
Only one that was perfect. See, when they ask that question, they looking at it like, you keep the law, then that makes you perfect. There was only one that was perfect, which was Christ. So they think that if you telling me that you can keep the law, you're telling me that you're perfect. You're like the Messiah.
Well-
that's the aspect that I remember.
Well, see, the problem is the law has two sides of keeping it. There's always gonna be two sides.
Yes, sir.
Keeping the law means if you break it, there's part two of that law. The man that have broken this law must grab 2 turtle doves. He must take them to the priest, and then he will be made clean and he will be found perfect because he know what to do if I break a law. See, if you just break a law and there's nothing there for you to fix the law, you still in the same place. So that's keeping the law. I know what to do if I break one.
And that's what makes you perfect.
That's
He
what
said,
makes
"Be
you
ye
perfect."
perfect as I am perfect.
But see, the difference in the Messiah, he never broke a law. He just showed you, and I'm gonna take on all y'all law breaking, and I'm gonna show y'all how to fix y'all law breaking, like the woman brought to him in adultery. All the Pharisees got her. They threw her on the ground. Just called her in adultery in the very act.
Wait a man.
What the law say? If you catch a man and a woman, you should do what to both of them? What a man at?
Where
He
is
said,
man?
Look, they say they caught them in the act.
Say them, but there's only one present.
What a man
He's sitting there with a rock.
with a rock in his hand.
Yep. He in the midst of them. Because they say the accuser usually comes back to the scene of the crime.
Always, because they want to see if anybody knows. That's their conscience bearing witness on. Go back there and see what they done figured out. Where you drop that knife at? Over there at the bush. They got hound dogs over there at that bush. Yo, you go into the penitentiary. Go over there and see if you can ease up there and get that knife. Too late. Too late. Where we at?
Matthew chapter 5, verse 17.
Yes, sir.
Think not that I am come to destroy the law.
Hold on, everybody caught up with us? Y'all, and this is the Messiah who was the living law and word, who never sinned. He taught us if we sin, how to be made perfect. It's two different things, but he had to be a perfect example of that first. He couldn't break the law because you be pointing fingers at him. You just like us. You just like us. How you gonna say anything? But he wasn't just like us. He took on us and wore us. If we don't understand that, it had to be somebody. Adam failed with that. When that shit right there, second Ezra, we were reading 3 chapters, wait till you get to David. And David came and started to correct this. But what did David do?
Good.
What did David do? Nathan the prophet came to David and told him. What did David do? David kept the law of adultery, though. He repented, turned away from that. It ain't on record, never again. Not only that, but then he took on this responsibility because her husband dead. He didn't leave her out there to the wolves to be shamed. That's the whore that messed around with David. That's all would have been said about him. He took her to what? And then had a son righteously, so his pleasure was now the bed is on. Where before his pleasure, the bed was dishonor. You don't think he was standing on that rooftop pointing out to it and he was looking at it in disdain? You don't think, who is that? Who is that heifer bathing it, soaping up like that? Who is that heifer? That's Uriah the Hittite wife. Uriah, get him home and have him cover her up. Was that the same?
No, not by long.
No.
Quite the opposite.
Where we at?
Matthew chapter 5, verse 17.
What it say?
Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophet.
Or the what?
Or the prophet.
Uh-huh.
I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
But to do what?
Fulfill.
Uh-huh.
For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled.
So this kill, he nailed the law to the cross because he said, and the prophets. See, there's always part two that when those of the Sunday doctrine say, well, he fulfilled the law. What about the prophets? That's the next step to ask him to see where they study game at. He said it wasn't just one thing. He said he didn't come to destroy. He said, I didn't come to destroy the law or the prophet. And fulfillment ain't destroying, is it? No. Since when does fulfillment become destroying? It ain't written. But he said, and the prophet. So now we got Isaiah 66. We got Isaiah 65 about the second coming. So then you ask, so you telling me Isaiah 66 ain't coming to pass? There'll be no second coming? And so, okay, well, maybe that's why you waiting on some mysterious rapture that ain't in the scripture. Now, see, there's a great gathering, but it's post-tribulation. That means after tribulation, there's a gathering. The rapture is pre-tribulation. We'll be gone before it starts. So they think.
Somebody lying.
What we at?
Verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments.
Break one of these what?
Least
The
commandments.
littlest one. Go ahead.
And shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
See, he said, if you teach them to break even the least commandment, God don't care nothing about you eating no pork. If he didn't want you to eat pork, why he put him on earth? He put him on earth so he eat up all your trash. See, even, and look, it's without excuse, because even when we was younger watching cartoons, what was under the sink at the Flintstone?
The pig,
What was he eating?
the trash. It was the garbage
Can't
disposal.
get out of it, y'all. You can't get out of it. It's always going to be there.
Even
It's in
Disney,
every
though.
cartoon. That's the way the devil works. You're not going to escape him bringing the law to you because he cannot have you in a position where you can escape the same judgment he got. He's not going to do it. Bait car, when they pull it in your driveway with the keys running. I mean, the keys in it and it's running. You know them places say Georgia and you live in Missouri? You know damn well that ain't your car. You think this just a gift? So you look around, circle it 2 times. They got cameras in there, watch you go to the back, peep out again and come back in, get in, pick up your pocket. Next thing you know, woo, woo, woo. Say it's my auntie, she gave it to me. She's sick, she in the hospital.
And the
They
first,
sit right there listening to you, making up your lies.
and notice the first thing they ask you is your knowledge according to the law.
Yeah. Did you know it was stolen? Did you know when you looked in there, who keys is these?
Whose car is this?
Right.
They want to see if you're gonna tell the truth or lie.
Off tops.
Off top, they playing the same according way that Satan is playing according to this book, this law. They doing it the same exact way. They want to see if you know right from wrong. Off the flip, you know what you did wrong. Whose car is this? Oh, this is my so and so, and they sitting back laughing like, we just planted this here.
We
And
just
you
gonna show 'em
lie.
the field.
How far are you gonna lie?
That's how far they take you, don't they? Keep
Yeah.
letting you go.
Hey, like we got a camera in here and everything. We heard your whole conversation about how you was plotting to take it. We watched you walk around it several times and peep it out and look up and down the street.
You know it's stealing at that point.
And they sitting there talking. Look, he's checking it out now.
Yeah.
He's calling over his plot.
Yeah. You know they
Oh,
know
he's
the
getting ready
thieving
to
move.
take it.
Yeah. Is it wrong for them to put it in your driveway? Look, if they put it anywhere, they're saying there's rules for you to keep a stolen vehicle that's parked on your property. Call us. Hey, some car thief done stole a car and left it in my driveway. Now y'all need to get it out of there. I got to be at work soon. Y'all need to come on and get this car now. If y'all ain't coming, I'm gonna move it on the street. I'm just letting y'all know. You keeping the law. They can't charge you with that. But you drive that car to work, the Lord done bless me. You know how people just say, I looked in the mailbox and there was a check in there. I'm still waiting for a check from the Bank of Nowhere? Where that bank at? Who is the check written out to? What bank gonna cash? I looked in there, it was $1,000. It's from somewhere. $1,000 just don't show up in an envelope and ain't no payment plan to pay it back. You got to cash it somewhere, don't you? Them Arabs don't cash every check. Some of them, they do look in the light.
Yeah, and on one of those they found someone who did take the keys out. They were trying to flag somebody, a cop down. They got in, the cop kept going. So he found another one and drove over to that cop and gave him the keys. And the guys that were surveillance, they were like, oh, they did the right thing. They did the right thing.
See,
they're like, oh, okay. So they just pulled up and like, okay, thank you for being a good Samaritan, and took the keys and everything. And then charged him because they wanted to see how far he was going to either he's out to steal it or to make it good. They saw they was trying to make good, but they were disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah, they disappointed. The same way they stopped them trains and opened the door with all them AKs in there. Tech 9. Leave the door open in the ghetto. What you think gonna happen?
I saw
They're always breaking in trains.
a little image of a boy at 14 in Chicago sitting in his bedroom window with a bazooka.
Bazooka?
Man, had it on his shoulder, man. 14 years old. Found it in a truck.
Truck just mysteriously show up there, but do that mean you got to get it? No, call them. Look, I know what y'all doing. I'm calling the news next. Y'all don't come down here and get that truck full of ammunition that's gonna destroy our neighborhood. I'm calling Channel 4 next.
Some brothers did that too. Yeah. They got them on tape. They called they went live with it. They called the police, they called the politicians and politicians and all them down. So like, look at what they doing. A big old truck, man, filled from front to back.
It was Chicago.
Yeah.
Where you at on that?
End of verse 19.
Is that it for the law and the prophets? So y'all, we understand two sides, but we're gonna hit this Revelation 19, verse 10 is gonna make you understand what prophecy is, why it has to be accepted also. Y'all, when they say nobody can keep the law, they don't understand what keeping the law means. So it's time for us to understand what keeping it means. It means you know what to do if you break one. Like the man he healed for leprosy before the Messiah took over the priesthood. He healed him of leprosy. He said, now go do what Moses say according to the law. What was he supposed to do? He's supposed to go take the priest some turtle dove. That was before his crucifixion. He's still telling them to obey under Aaron till I take the reins. Go do what he say do. And the woman called adultery. He said, where are all them that accuse? She said, they all gone. He said, well, I can't accuse you either. Why can't he accuse you? Deuteronomy 17, Deuteronomy 19, you put anybody to death, it has to be with two witnesses. He's one against all them. Well, I ain't gonna condemn you either. But go and do what no more?
Sin no more.
So if she's sin no more, that way she keeps the law. You can keep the law. It's just we don't know what that means, keeping the law. Where we at, bro? Revelation.
Chapter 19, verse 10.
What it say?
And I fell at his feet to worship him.
Uh-huh.
And he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Jesus.
Right.
Worship God.
Uh-huh.
For the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy.
It's the spirit of what?
Prophecy.
See, so that's why you can't get rid of the law and the prophecy, because the testimony of Messiah is prophecy. He has to be the prophesied one to come to deliver us. If you get rid of prophecy, you get rid of him. Who you waiting on in the rapture? But the Antichrist. He's going to give you some pre-tribulation gift, because that's what the Antichrist does before he rains terror on you. Y'all can keep all the religions y'all want. Y'all can keep on celebrating Halloween if you want. That's what the Antichrist gonna say. So he's gonna accept you into his kingdom under his form of judgment by every wind of doctrine. And there's some strong wind doctrine out there, boy. You read that next verse? That was just 10.
Yeah, verse
Spirit of
11.
prophecy.
Yeah, verse 11.
Uh-huh.
And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True.
Uh-huh.
And in righteousness he doeth judge and make war.
In righteousness, he do what?
Judge and make war.
The only way you can judge and make war is according to law.
That's right.
It's the only way to judge and make war. There's rules that you judge how everybody plays by the rules. And if they violate those rules, then you make what? What you think sanctions is when they put on a nation?
Come on.
These are rules. Y'all can't make no more. Y'all better not be looking for no plutonium to make a weapon. So what we're going to do to keep y'all on point, we're going to ration out some things to you.
These are the rules of war.
These are the rules of war. We're going to then pass judgment if you break these laws. Y'all, it's not hard. It's just that we want to play with the other side of the other side of right. We want to dibble and dabble in it just enough and then bag out of it. But the devil don't give no bag out plans. He lure you in real easy. You just beat that one. Hell, you just beat that. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But they're small potatoes. Let's go for the gusto. You the man. You the man. Everybody look up to you. You the man. I ain't gonna tell you some shit. You the king. You want Bathsheba, go get him. I ain't gonna tell you what to do. You the king. You the king, ain't you? And see, David had already violated law, because when it started off, that was the time where the kings go out to battle.
Right.
That was the time David was supposed to let the other nations see who the king of Israel is, who they champion is in Israel at the time. But he laid back, y'all go kind of let them Philistines, ain't about nothing, you know. Who they Goliath nephew? Shh, I ain't got time for that. Y'all go ahead.
And let go.
And get out and walk on that battle. Ooh, my goodness. Should have been at the battle for the king. He had to been where he's supposed to be when he saw what he saw. That's how the devil like to play. You got 13 top boys to handle all of them Philistines right now. What you going out there for? Yeah, what am I going out there for?
I didn't put it in my work.
I'm putting my work.
They got to prove themselves.
Devil like, yeah, but wait about the work you finna put in for me. Where we at?
Verse 12.
No, you can hold that. Let me get these Johns, y'all. We're gonna close out. It's just a couple I want to get in here that gets right to the point. John 14, we're gonna start about verse 6, and since we'll be letting you get started right here very short. 14. We're gonna start about verse 6, y'all, and we're gonna just hit 2 more, and then we're gonna get out of it, and I'll just give y'all all the rest to write down.
I got them up on the board.
You got them already up on the board? Okay. But now I'll tell you what, man. I need to get to that Romans 7 because it's very important concerning the law. Let's just get this Romans 7, y'all, and we'll read just the first one, Romans 8. I'll give y'all all the rest, like he got them up on the board, and we'll understand the law of truth. Y'all have to understand the law from this perspective. If you don't, you got to seek everything and saying, why would God put us in a position? Do you know everybody that child get killed a bad way? The first thing they do is turn their back on the Most High. Yep. I just can't, for me to understand the life of me, all the ways this child could have died. The Lord will let him be raped and killed by a maniac just getting out of prison. Let's turn to Isaiah 53. Let's show you what happened to his son.
Right.
His son.
Right.
He ain't doing having you do nothing he ain't did. You think he want to witness his son being killed like that at the order of Israel? Crucify him. Who said that? Was it the Roman or Israelite?
We did that. Then said, let the
Blood be on us.
And our children's children.
See, them oaths stand. That's why the court tells us to do what? Do you solemnly do what in court?
Swear.
What the word tell us to do?
Swear not.
What it tells us to do? Affirm.
Affirm.
You know what affirm means? You say, I affirm. Watch what they say. Okay, we'll accept that. You know what that means? I'm going to tell you the best of my recollection. Recollection. I'm going to tell you what I remember to the best of my knowledge. See, and most of them play that game. They'll take the fifth, or they say, I don't recall. I don't recall. Oh, you don't recall, huh? Well, let us freshen up your memory here. Is this your cell phone? And these are your text messages right here. So they'll refresh your memory when you don't recall. But swearing, he says, swear not at all.
Not by the
Unless
altar.
you're ready to put yourself on the line for the judgment of making a false oath with the Lord. You can say, I affirm.
He said, let your answer be
Yeah, nay.
nay.
You know why? Because they're going to trick you up. They got some evidence you don't know about. They know who your supplier is. They know it's Big Mama. We think that Social Security check paying for them Porsches and Benz in front of our house in West. You actually think we going for that.
And then they constantly remind you, remember you're under oath.
You're under oath.
You done sworn.
Is Big Mama the biggest dope dealer in North St. Louis? And Big Mama sitting up in there. Boy, don't you say a damn word. Oh, I'm sorry, Big Mama. I can't go to jail. I ain't made for it.
Boy, I knew you was a punk.
Yeah. She did it. Yeah. She the one. She Big Mama for real. Literally, she Big Mama. And you have to tell, or you perjure yourself. Automatic what? 5 years?
Yes.
Automatic. They love to stick it right to you like that.
Guarantee.
You know what else they do? They follow the one flesh rule. They will never make a wife testify against her husband because they can't. How they do it? Show a picture of him at the club with his honey.
Do you know this woman?
Get 2 more drinks over here for my baby.
Now she ready to file for divorce and no longer his rib.
Do you know who this is, ma'am?
That's my cousin.
Right. With him in that position. Blurred down, dirty mother. The dope in under the baby's crib. Tell them where all of it's at, because they know how to separate you. They're telling you he separated himself. He's got polygyny going on and you don't know about it. Let us show you his work in the club. Notice the dance moves, how he's grinding and they're hollering, get a room. It's your husband. I mean, for the short to laugh at that. Let's get it, man. Where we at? Let's finish this off.
All right, Romans chapter 7, verse 1.
What it say? Everybody there? I'm gonna catch you.
All right, Romans chapter 7, verse 1.
What it say?
Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law.
That know what?
The law.
See, we talking to what we just had a class on. Do you understand the law? So now we talking to us. We just had a class on it, y'all, which we understand on all sides of it. Nothing supersedes it. No language supersedes it. No gift supersedes it, because all those gifts have to follow rules. Go ahead.
How does the law have dominion over a man as long as he liveth? For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband, so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law of her husband.
So we got a problem here. Deuteronomy say, if he find no favor in her, she's free to be another man's wife. Is Paul contradicting the law here? Or do we understand what Paul is saying right here? There's the law of the flesh and the law of the spirit. If the woman is bound by the law, she's bound by the law. See, what happens is, how do Christian preachers use this and tell a woman they can't never get married? And it says bound by law. What you just said don't exist. See, that's the flip side that they're not understanding. How you gonna say out of your mouth that marriage is this, but you're saying the law is done away with? Now y'all supposed to be married according to what? You said the law was done away with. So how is she bound to what's done away with? How is she bound? But it says so long as he liveth. You alive when you keep the what? The law. If he ain't keeping the law, he's dead. And one thing it talks about is the law explains outcall. Yes, sir. It's not being provided for or abandonment.
And Israel is still under the law because our husband is still alive.
Still alive.
Jeremiah 3:14 said he's married unto us.
Right.
So we have to understand no man has bought us yet, though. See, will the land be defiled? If somebody else had claimed us as their own and gave us their laws, statutes, and judgments, then we would have been remarried to another God. But that ain't took place. We just playing the harlot.
Mm-hmm.
We separated. So we just living it up, so to speak. But ain't no other man claimed us as wife yet. So the Messiah can take us back. Because will the land be defiled if she marry another man and then come back to her husband? The land is defiled at that point. So ain't no other man we've been married to. We done played the harlot with other men.
Mm-hmm. We slept with various doctors.
But ain't nobody accepted us as this is our bride, Israel now. We married her. Ain't nobody did that because Psalm 83, all the nations already know. Don't take her to wife. You see what she done done? She nasty.
Not only that, there is no other God.
She nasty, dog.
There is no other God beside our God.
What you got, bro?
So you divorce your wife and she go sleep with 100 guys, you can take her back. Or she get married to him, you can't get her back.
Right. Now, it sounds crazy, though.
I'm trying not to frown up back.
Well, look, what we're talking about, those other guys are no protection. Those are happy guys. Are you happy? She's chasing the wind. Look, David's first wife, when Saul run him off, he gave her to another man. And they lived as husband and wife. But when David came back and took possession, he went to that man. He said, that's my wife.
I want her back.
And you got her illegally. You can't be married to her, not legally. And the man was following behind him like a puppy crying.
Yeah.
He said, look, I told you.
You better get back.
You better get on back. Now, I told you once. What little bit of fun you done had. See, that's why 1 Corinthians 7 want to get into, if you break apart, don't do it for so long. Because somebody else will creep in there for your
contingency.
Well, what it means for your lack of love for each other.
Right.
Somebody will fill the void. Rebound Harry and rebound Harriet is out there waiting to look for that. That's why he said, I hate the putting away. Divorce is different from put away. Putting away is we're separated. It's the first step of divorce. It's like endowment or engagement or espousal is the first step to marriage. It's still considered marriage, but it ain't been completed yet. So separation is the first part of the thing. You can fix that if it go awry and fix it in time. You may find out some things. Do you still want to fix this? Do you still want to marry this woman? She ain't married him, but you know, you heard some things about the club. If you accept that and make that covenant, you can't bring that back up. Or why did you get married? And you knew it. Oh, well, you can't pick that up? I guess if I was Earl, I could pick it up, couldn't I? That's going to be through the rest of the marriage. Now it's always going to be comparable to that vow you made. You can't keep bringing that up. If you brought it back, that's the deal. But if they are legally under a covering of another man, you cannot take her back.
Can't take her back. Land is defiled.
You have to understand, the Bible only punishes what's recorded. I'm not saying nowhere else. There's self-punishment, and then there's punishment of the Bible of a harlot. Unless she's married, like Proverbs 7 and Genesis 35 or 38, where Tamar played the harlot. And Judah went into her. She played the harlot, but she ended up being more righteous than Judah. That's the only time you can see on record that they were told, burn her with fire, put her to death. But just a standard woman who's having sexual relationships, it said it's going to break her down. She's going to want to have a husband. And what happens is it takes you deeper into deep water. Because and all a harlot means is just a woman having sex without a protection husband order. You have to take that title. It don't come no other way. It's either wife and husband or harlot and whoremonger. Them the only choices you get. Now, the law is lawful, but it's not expedient. You may not be in the shape just yet to consummate it. You on part 2, you trying to get part 1 back right, so you keep the whole law. You know how we say come back to the law? You're gonna have a ceremony where people publicly know y'all together other than just word of mouth. Oh, no, they got married last week down there. You know, that hall down on Martin Luther King. Had about 200 people there. What? Yeah, pictures out there on Facebook. But ain't no pictures when you just saying sex is marriage. Ain't nobody got no pictures of them, do they? Huh?
I don't know, they might.
They ain't got no pictures of them and they calling them marriage because they ain't calling them wife.
No, it ain't.
They got another name for
marriage. It's period. It's other kind of pictures.
Wifey. They put a Y on the end of it.
No, that ain't.
Wifey. What does that mean?
Something like.
Exactly. So y'all, when you understand the needs from that perspective of the law, Solomon, when he split the baby, those were 2 harlots, right? Mm-hmm. What did daddy them babies at that court session? It's about to be clear. Ain't nobody go tell the daddy, man, they gonna cut your baby in half, man. That other woman slept on her baby and said, your baby, Solomon's gonna kill that thing. You better get up there and see about your child, man.
Daniel was there.
Where the man at? And Solomon making this judgment. And he went back with that sword and she said, no, give it to her. He like, that's the mama.
Yep.
That's the mama right there. Give her to settle this deal. Where the daddy at?
So there was no punishment for harlots?
It's self-punishment. Like there's no punishment for men messing with harlots. There's self-punishment. He should be brought to a price of bread. Luke 15, the prodigal son spent all his money on what? Harlots? Yeah. And party.
And party and kicking.
See, and what I'm talking about, self-hurt will wear you out faster than anything because it's possible she has another man. So you're into polyandry. You don't know because you've accepted we're just friends with benefits. So friends with benefits mean her part of her benefits, she can have another man.
Yep.
Now you go over there and it's your night Thursday and you see some shoes under the bed big enough for you to put your feet in with your shoes on. Now you mad. You want wife privilege. Who is she? Who is she? It's who just like you, no paperwork. That's who it is. If it was not, it would be a crime then. He could say, it's wrong, woman, I'm finna put you to death. Paperwork say, ain't no shoes under there should be that big under there. Y'all have to understand because men died in war. Men would sucker women. I'm gonna take care of you. I know your husband died. Hit him and leave. That still puts her in harlot status.
It's happening today.
Because he left. It's a word, but when you look at judgment about it, it's only if they marry and it brings them to a price bid because it brings disease. You don't know who he been with. You don't know who she been with. All you know is your day. It's Thursday. And I have the rent money.
And on your day, you getting all the other days.
Right. What you doing here Friday?
The residue of all the other days.
How you over here and ain't got, you got the refrigerator bill money, don't you? No, you get out of here. You come back next week with that money. But if they start to practice that, then they become a whore. And that's where the sinning come in at. When you become a whore, because now you like the way it live. Oh shit, all week. Earl on Thursday, Billy on Tuesday, Fred on Friday, hell, all these bills paid. And she quit looking for a husband. If he's got 5 of them, he's quit looking for a wife. Because the whole thing is just to get it off. But what happens is a baby made and she stuck with it. So the fatherless and the widows, she's going to get money for the child because we don't know who the daddy is. Judges 11 chapter, Jephthah, one of the greatest warriors in Israel, bust some Philistines' head. It starts off, his mama was a harlot. And all Israel was judging. Your mama a hoe. But when the war came and they was getting beat down, they said, go get the whole son. And he said, oh, y'all want me now, huh? He said, but I live for the Lord. I ain't gonna turn my back on the Lord because what y'all said about me. I'm not gonna take it personal. Get my gear. And went and handled them Philistines. And made a oath with the Lord. Whoever comes out of my house first, they'll serve you in the temple forever. And it happened to be his only child. And he gave her to the temple to serve the Lord for the rest of her life. No men, and they did, the women what's called, they bewailed the virgin or mourn, because they said, you ain't gonna never have sex, you going to the temple. So they had to comfort her about that, because every woman is seeking a husband to be married from little girls. You're brought up that way.
Yeah, that's their.
You're not brought up to be what's the only thing open on the other side of midnight, the hospital and the paralytic. You weren't raised like that. Let's get it. Where we at? Last two, y'all. We're gonna close on out.
Still in chapter.
Got any questions out there?
No, sir.
Where we at?
Verse 3.
Yes, sir.
So then if, while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adultery. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man.
See, so she's free from that law. See, it says particularly this one dealing with that subject. It's not saying a woman can never get remarried again unless her former husband who's divorced died. It ain't written like that. Because he could be dead and he's alive. If he leaves you for 7 years, he's dead, according to the law. He's abandoned you for what's called a jubilee. 7 years, he's abandoned you where you go free anyway from this subject. You're released from it anyway after that. Was it Exodus 24:10, Leviticus 24:10? If he provide not these 25?
No.
Exodus 21. If he provide not these three things, she's free to go.
Yeah.
She's free to go. So is this law contradicting that?
She can leave, he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing.
That's what the rules of marriage are. See, marriage comes with a responsibility behind the fun on the other side of midnight. There's a responsibility level when you get up and stretch. The first one is put some water on it, so we don't cross-contaminate nobody else. Then we get prepared for what may have happened, conception, which happens like that. Or it wouldn't be the morning after pill, would it? It'd be the week later pill. But conception's like this. Soon as that hit the egg, y'all know what it is. Y'all done went to class. It's gonna be the pumpkin belly soon. And there's responsibility with that. Now I gotta get my house in order. How many bottles I need a day? Well, breastfeeding gonna cut into half of that, but you may get a little sore after a while, so we're gonna fix up some formula. How much I need per week? This much. Okay. You're gonna need drawers. How many drawers I mean? That much. How many this? That much. If you start running a program to milk this off the government, they're not giving you that much. And you got rent, light, gas, all of that off of $200 a month. Go ahead, read some more.
Verse 4.
What it say?
Wherefore, my brethren, ye are also become dead to the law by the body of Christ, that ye should be married to another, even to him who is raised from the dead, that we should bring forth fruit unto God.
See, that ye should be married to another, even to him who was raised from the dead. See, so basic essence is saying who you were married to is dead. You know, you're free from that law, right? But it's going into detail, should be bring forth fruit, be married to another, even him who was raised from dead, that we should bring forth fruit to a God. So by him being dead, but he said, I'm never dead, I live always. So you're not getting rid of him because at the cross was the end of it. See, once the Christianity say he fulfilled the law, then he's cut off. That's why they're saying that the law is done away with. We ain't got to worry about it no more. He's dead. See, they don't really believe in the resurrection. See, when he resurrected, he came back still as our God, as our Savior. He was still there. He said, I'm just showing you because y'all gonna have to taste the same death and still be married. It's like the kingdom. We still, if we die and we resurrected, there's still a marriage supper of the what?
Lamb.
Of the Lamb, ain't it? You still gonna be married when you wake up. You still got to go back into a marriage covenant. This is all he's talking spiritual, and then break it in the flesh for you to understand it. But we don't know the difference, and we see, oh, he's dead to the law. Oh, the law is nailed to the cross. But wild time now.
Uh-oh.
It's like Elijah Muhammad, separate men and women, and got 20 children by the virgins out there. And guess who he used as his scapegoat? Like David, I had to sow my oats. Well, David oath sowing got him a lot of trouble. At least say, and I am ready for the oath sowing problems that he had. I'm looking for a nation of prophets to come up in here immediately. You gonna uplift yourself off the biggest crime in David's history that he had to write Psalm 51?
Right.
You gonna uplift yourself. Nation, come in here. I guess I'll be doomed then, huh? Get out of here. Go ahead, bro.
I think you watched that movie.
Verse 5.
What it say?
But when we were in the flesh, most of the sins, which were by the law, did work in our members to bring forth fruit unto death.
See, that's all it could do is bring forth fruit unto death, because under Aaron, what it did is corrected you. If you didn't correct, it's gonna happen. Then you have to teach your children under this law, don't do that because they're gonna put you to death. They're gonna kill you right before my eyes. And that's what they would do. They would put you to death immediately. Wasn't no playing around like all these false prophets out here talking about the world gonna end in 2000. If we were under the law that they sitting in Moses' seat claimed, they would be dead. It wouldn't be no excuses. See, the Lord held back on that false prophecy so all you brothers could come in. See, y'all, see, the Lord held back so y'all could get the truth. How about if he had to say that false prophecy, all y'all would have been born in the kingdom? How about that one better than to accept this false prophecy? Go ahead, what you got, Theo?
So basically, saying we divorced Aaron's priesthood and we married to Melchizedek priesthood.
Well, we were married to the law. That's the difference.
Right.
It's just priesthoods under the law. Same law. We don't want to get away from the marriage of the word. It's the same one. He just allowed for a retraining, so to speak, of our fathers, like how father trained his daughter.
It's like a renewed
well, because they were switching for retraining. Like a lot of times when you read Numbers 5, not Numbers 5, Numbers 30. If a young widow, if her husband got killed in the war, she's 20 years old, she got to go back to her father's house. Or she gonna end up playing the harlot out in the streets. So she would go back to her father's house and he would take her back in because her husband is dead. She's a young man. She's back under his covering. Right. That's what the whole thing. See, and those who say the Thessalonians, when they say he's worse than an infidel, and they say, oh, that meant the widow. Well, when you read Numbers 30, you'll see widows in that household, and there's no age range for it. If your mother become a widow, would you let her go to a home, or you got space in your house, bring your mama home with you? Now your mama up under your rule, so to speak, of the head of the household, because you control. You're not ruling over your mama. But that's what happened with widows. You bring them back under the household of the man. Until you understand Numbers 30, you won't understand what I'm saying about the head of the household and the power therewith. So when you say he's worse than an infidel, it's still talking about the household. You have to take care of your young children if their husband dies. And you marrying them at sex they married, and all this gang banging out here, and as soon as they get killed, you got to take her back in. When Miriam got cursed for 7 days and they couldn't leave it out, it said if her father had but spit in her face, right, she had to do 7 days. Only way a father would spit in her daughter's face, she come home with her belly full and ain't got no husband, right, coming back to his house. He spit in her face, which is cross-contamination. Put her out for 7 days, make sure ain't nothing wrong with his spit. Yo, these laws are harsh only to those that don't obey. If you obey, it's a walk in the park. They're not grievous. They're not burdensome. All you have to do is quit trying to figure out how to break them and get away with it.
Right.
That's all you have to do, and you'll see the other side of it.
Trying to be slick willies.
When you finally get the right stickers on there, you ain't worried about them riding behind you.
Right.
You ain't making no sharp turns down the street you ain't been down, and it's a dead end.
When you got all your paperwork and everything, you ride with confidence.
That's right.
Your paperwork, you ride with confidence.
Yes. When you got your stuff right, when you going doing according to the law, there's confidence behind that. Ain't no fear. That's why the Most High says, I give you not over to the spirit of fear, because you're doing his commandments.
Right.
Let's finish this up, y'all. We're gonna close out so sis can get a thing in.
Yeah,
Where you
verse
at?
6.
Yeah, what it say?
But now we are delivered from the law, that being dead wherein we were held, that we should serve in newness of spirit.
Serve in newness of what?
Spirit.
See, you have to be dead to that law that constantly caught you walking on eggshells and getting you in a position of where all you looking for is another crime to happen. Don't want to do that, that's another crime. The law has you bound, so you scared to even go out the door. You won't drink a beer. You won't do nothing that's legal. Oh, it may lead to something.
Just like misunderstanding the Sabbath.
It's torture. It's torture. When he keep using the word servile work, no servile work. You can't just be going to work 7 days a week. Go ahead.
And not in the oldness of the letter. Verse 7. What shall we say then?
Not in the oldness of what?
The letter.
See, the oldness of the letter, y'all, he's trying to break that cycle. He's not saying the law is done away with. He's saying that was more for your flesh, to get your flesh in check. You just come out of Egypt. You're going to have to get flesh checked. You're going to have to understand what marriage is all over again. You're going to have to understand what Abraham was doing. All that's got to be reinstituted to you. You got to learn this all over. But once you learn it, the note coming off the refrigerator, you can't keep saying you forgot to take out the trash.
It should be in your spirit.
It should be in your spirit now. Let's read some up.
Verse 7.
What it say?
What shall we say then? Is the law sin?
Is the law sin? That's what they teach. That's what Creflo teaches. The law is sin, even the Big Ten. Go ahead.
God forbid.
God what?
Forbid. Nay, I had not known sin, but by the law. For I had not known lust, except the law had said, thou shalt not covet.
And people are like, I'm so confused. Why Paul do that? He's saying stuff. Now he's saying I didn't know what it is. Then one whisper to him, all you got to do is just say Jesus and all that go away. You're going to have to say more than that. He said, those that teach the breaking of the least commandment will be the last one to get in the kingdom. You know how somebody say, hey man, Earl say he want to come to your party. Man, Earl will be the last one coming to my party. Do that means after everybody come through and they say, oh, here come Earl, he gets in?
No, that means Earl ain't coming in.
That's what it
Earl
means.
ain't getting in. Even if the last one come in, Earl can still be there and he ain't getting in. I'm gonna wait for somebody else to be last before he comes.
Yes, sir.
Verse 8. But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscence. For without the law, sin was dead.
Right.
For I was alive without the law once, but when the commandment came, sin revived and I died.
Because you're walking on eggshells. Now, the commandment, when it came, we already had it at the beginning. It was already there. Nature showed it to us. But when it has to be instituted to you, all y'all get in line. We're going to do this now. We're going to finna start punishing people for what they do wrong. See, we didn't have to do that. Abraham didn't have to do that. They knew the law. They spoke the law. You know, they were righteous men. They understood that like Job made a covenant with his eyes in Job 31st chapter. He said, I make a covenant with thee. If I look at another woman, if the first thing I do is look at her rear end, then that man could have my wife and his friends could join in. He made a covenant with his eyes. So when you understand that from that perspective, then concupiscence, what is that? Say the word. It don't, and why do you think that's short of the word Cupid? And who shoots you with an arrow? Right in your rear end, he shoots you. And love bugs fly all over everywhere.
Not.
Right.
So y'all have to understand what they're making short of word. What says is love. They say concupiscence is love. It's short for Cupid. Love on his day. But that's illegal love, ain't it? Concupiscence is I can't hold it. I got a white liver.
Means I gotta have it now. And
That's
if it means
what
by
they used to
force,
say
then
back
I'll
then. They
use
couldn't help,
force.
they said. That's what they call a white liver.
Yes.
Instead of blood, it's saturated with man stuff.
Oh.
A white liver. Can't never get enough. Yeah.
To the point where they use any kind of trickery they need to use to get
What they want.
violence, force. Most High's name in vain, it don't matter, as long as they get theirs.
Go ahead, bro. We're gonna finish this up and close out.
Verse 10.
What it say?
And the commandment which was ordained to life, I found to be unto death.
Because murder is still murder that was put in the garden. Cain committed what?
Murder.
So it ain't changed the commandment that was for life, because the first commandment before that was love thy who? Brother. And thy neighbor first, but it was your brother. That's what it's saying in 1 Corinthians, in first, all of the 1 John. It's commandment you got first. Love thy brother. You have to love each other before you can love what you ain't seen before. How you gonna love that? You ain't never seen that, but you can't get it together with who look just like you.
So you can't have faith.
Go ahead, brother.
Can't have, that's impossible.
Verse 11.
Uh-huh.
For sin, taking occasion by the commandment, deceived me, and by it slew me.
Uh-huh.
Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just and good.
See, now this looks like a contradictory of what the previous verse just said. But if you look at the previous verse, it says, for sin, taken occasion by the commandment, deceived me, and by it slew me. Because we're only quoting him from the side of wrongdoing, and you're gonna get put to death. There's no mercy with it. These men slay immediately, like they wanted to do the Messiah. He make himself God, so we gonna kill him. He make himself that, so we gonna kill him. This woman caught in adultery, so we gonna kill her. See, the law then became a killing machine. And all they did was just watch men get into debates, and then they kill them. Never uplifting, never showing no mercy and grace. That's why it keeps coming back. Is the law void? God forbid. They just keeping you under the slaying part of the law. They just got you always receiving the punishment of it, and you never see what happens. Like we was reading the alphabet, the first letters, how it protects you. You don't talk protection no more. You talk slaying and killing. And then you say the law means that if I just have my relations with any woman, we married. That ain't what the law said. That's going to kill you. That's going to kill you. Then there can never be the word harlot in the Bible. Right? It can't be. How? If that's marriage, it would only be called adultery. It can never be called a harlot, a woman outside of wedlock. It can never be that. You can't use those terms if just intercourse is marriage. It cannot be a harlot. It cannot be a whore. It's impossible for the language to be the same.
Would it be the same fornication?
It would be the same thing too. You cannot have it both ways. Go ahead, finish that up, bro.
Verse 13.
Uh-huh.
Was then that which is good made death unto me? God forbid.
See how it keeps saying, no, you got the wrong understanding of what I'm saying. The law is good. It's just the fact that if I keep sinning, it's bad for me. It's gonna kill me unless I stop what? Sinning. How hard is that, y'all? Let's read some more.
but sin, that it might appear sin, working death in me by that which is good, that sin by the commandment might become exceeding sinful. For we know that the law is spiritual.
What is the law?
Spiritual.
See, that's how you got to get it wrapped around your mind first, that it's spiritual and not fleshly. Fleshly gonna be commandments of men thrown in there to throw you off. Read some more.
But I am carnal, sold under sin. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I.
See, because you reading the law and you saying I ain't supposed to do that. Damn, but she fine. What does fine got to do with the law? See, because it's raw in you, it's right there in your face. Don't you do it? Look in that drawer, look in that drawer. There's something in there. I ain't gonna look in there. I ain't gonna look in there. If I look in there, I see something. Well, don't you want that in there to tell you, get out of that room? Then you want to look in it, want a pistol on the side of your head. I swear if the Lord liveth, I'm telling you, I'm a God-fearing man.
Rage.
That ain't what Proverbs 20:6 say.
Rage.
What's the rage of a jealous
Jealous
man?
man.
What reward you gonna give him? You think you gonna pull off that Rolex? He don't want that. You done been in his Rolex.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want your Rolex.
You done defiled his baby.
That song, Scarface had that song say, I don't want your money, I want your life. And dude caught messing around with his woman. Like, I don't want your money, I want your life.
Where we at? Go ahead.
Verse 16. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good. Now then it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. For I know that in me, that is, in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For two will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good I find not. For the good that I would, I do not, but the evil which I would not, that I do. Now if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the law of God after the inward man. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin.
See, because the law of sin is the flesh, and you got the law of the spirit in your mind, they are warring with each other. You're trying to get that flesh in order, but it's under another law. Come on, have some fun. You're gonna die anyway, ain't you? Go ahead.
Pork ain't never killed nobody.
Right.
Which is in my members. Oh, wretched man that I am.
Oh, what?
Wretched man that I am.
Right.
Who shall deliver me from the body of this death? I thank God through Jesus Christ our Lord. So then with the mind, I myself serve the law of God.
Who he served?
The law of God.
But
with the flesh, the law of sin.
See, so with the law of flesh, you serve sin. If you keep thinking with your outer cup, if you keep thinking like Simeon and Levi did, made a spiritual covenant, allowed them men to get circumcised with the spiritual covenant of God to exact their vengeance about a crime that happened of a law that they broke. So you're gonna fix them by breaking the law.
Two wrongs don't make it right.
See, so now they drop off the birthright list because of that act. You gonna punish them about breaking the law, and you set them up to break the law. That's what that was starting to do. Should he deal with our sister as with a heart? What are the oath rules first? You make an oath with God, you cannot break it. You cannot bring nobody into this covenant and slay it. You can't do it. If you do, you better not be heard saying nothing about what Columbus and them did to the Indians. Because they made a law with them, and what they do?
Slayed them.
So what's different from what Simeon and Levi did?
Did the same thing. They was Indian givers.
Indian givers. covenant gifts, so to speak.
Covenant gift.
Let's finish that up, bro. We're gonna close out.
That's it.
That's it. That's all up. Y'all read all of 8 because we're gonna get more into it. John 8. Y'all get into 1 through 14. And John 8, 31, 32. You got them up there, right? And you'll see that truth makes disciples. Not buddying make disciples. Truth make a disciple. When you know you're rolling with somebody, the truth that will tell you sinning, bro, you gonna get both of us key. I'm sinning, bro. Don't ride with me. I'm gonna get you key.
Said admonish your brethren. Warn them. If you love them, warn them.
So y'all, we hope they got a little bit of understanding on how holy the law is. But if it's not applied with grace and mercy, and please y'all read Sirach chapter 2, verse 15 through 18. Is that up there? And that's going to tell you about his mercy and his goodness, Isaiah 55 and 10. Those two go together, y'all. And when you understand both sides of this law, one side is punishing you for attempting to keep it, and the other side is going to free you from having to be worried about its behavior. You don't have to worry about the thing. And that Proverbs was 634 on what ransom can you give a jealous man?
Yeah.
He don't want that watch.
He don't want nothing.
He don't want none of that.
He want payback.
Because you done ruined what money can't buy. Money can't buy that feeling. When those naughty nothings are whispered in your ear in the wee hours. Money can't buy that. You want somebody to die behind this.
Because you done just defiled your land, boy, polluted your land. And then you don't know what it's been polluted with.
Anybody got any questions or concerns out there before we close out? Once again, y'all, let me say this too. Feast of Pentecost. Next Sunday. We already got a location. Any of y'all out there, like I said, we have spots for 10 families out there. That's 10 families of 5. I know it's last minute notice, y'all, but we kind of been behind the 8 ball with a few things going. But holler at me, send an email to me if you're saying, well, I'm gonna make it down there anyway. We'll put you on the books. But y'all, once again, we have to always make sure we have enough for the peoples that's there. We cannot open this wide up on that day. We have more people there than the law allows. So what the rules are, they only send it out. Our correspondents for the assembly send it out. It's $5 an individual. If you have a family, it's $10 for up to 5. That's husband and wife, 3 children. If you have an additional, you add $5. But those children, anybody over 13, because they're in an age of accountability, so to speak, they pay $5. 13 and up, 13 and down, you in on that family deal. So y'all, what we try not to do is price anybody out of the feast day, but we cannot, all the people that's adhering and participating and help and serve, they get overrun by those who just hear it's a feast day and show up. Pay your way. And this way, y'all, we make sure that the poor we always have with us, we're able to deliver. And you know, you can't even go to the Golden Corral for $5. Y'all, and it's a full feast day, y'all. We try to give back from some of the donations that we give in. I like to say shouts out to the big trucker out there, the Linton family out there in North Carolina, Winston-Salem out there. You know, some good people out there, man, that help support us, that we're able to keep this on the low like that, so we don't worry about the light bill while we're feasting. Right. We try to keep it to the point to where you can pull at least half that money out the ashtray, the change you've been throwing in there, or dig down in the seat.
But the bottom line is, as men, we must pull our weight.
That's right.
That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line, y'all. So next Sunday at Dunnigan Park, right off of Pullman and Halls Ferry. If you're coming down West Forest and make that left right there at Halls Ferry, that first light is Pullman, make that left, come out the park right there. We on the last spot over there where we always get the banner or be up. So y'all, and next Shabbat, they're most likely to do the class on Pentecost. So we don't have to spend the whole feast day there going over the lesson.
Thank you. That just made that easy.
Yes, sir. I know you like to do it right there. Yes, sir. I know you like to do it right there. You know what's wrong. You know where you want to be, Jay. So we'll give a light class out there of why we're there, so we keep everybody mind on the spirit of it, why we're there, and accountability while we're there. So get with me, y'all. Anybody that's here, it ain't too many of us left, but anybody out there that know, y'all need to get with me. So all I'm doing, put your name on the list. The name has to go on the list before we go to the store. That ain't hard either, is it? How hard is it to call and send a message, say, put me on the list? But you're not going to show up that day and talk about put me on the list. It can't happen because you're going to be in line first and everybody that was on the list first going to be at the back of the line.
No, we ain't having that.
Ain't going to happen. Cannot do it. It has to be decently in order in the land that we dwell in. Y'all, we was at home, different story. But we're here, so we have to go to the store early. We have to know what our numbers is, calculate that and say, this should be sufficient. We should be able to get through the day for this amount. And y'all, we try to make sure we don't price you out of keeping the law.
That's right.
You know how many say that, boy? $1,500 for Pentecost per child.
Man,
No,
right.
I'm just gonna have to talk to the Lord about that when I see him. No, we ain't gonna put you in that position.
No. You're not supposed to exact usury upon your
That's
brethren,
right.
nor put heavy burdens upon your brethren.
Right.
We're not supposed to be in a heavy heart
Yeah.
to try to celebrate with our brethren.
That's right.
It's supposed to be a joyous occasion. And before we get out of here, let me just say this.
Go ahead, Elijah.
To all the family that I met out down in Memphis,
Boy, you had a good time, man.
man, I had a wonderful time. My wife and I had a beautiful time. I just want to thank the Most High and His Holy Begotten Son for y'all enjoying that day, that honeymoon with me and my wife.
Yes, sir.
And man, that was beautiful. My rib and I are still on the spiritual high. And I just say thank you. Thank y'all for being a part. You know, it was a blessing. I love you all. Those
Got
who
you,
I
bro.
met.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's a good time, y'all. And B Hood, he got all the pictures and everything. Nurse too. He said, man, they ain't going on no Facebook. He said, ain't going on that door nowhere. Send it to him in an email. He said, I don't care nothing about he got access to your page. Send him the photos if you want them to be on the video. If not, you're gonna be looking to my, he put mine on there. No.
And if anybody ain't sent no video or photos, please send them to B Hood. He say he's still waiting on people to send the video or photos.
So the deadline gonna be soon, y'all. He need to cut that off and get that into production so we can get out there so everybody can enjoy and y'all can see exactly what bro is talking about. That one love, that fellowship, free of the law of sin, so to speak, that we're practicing. Not saying that everybody in there was saved and righteous. What we're talking about is a practice where we're in an ignorant free zone. That's all
It
we're
was
talking about.
completely ignorant free. Beautiful.
Beautiful. All right, Psalms 41, with the Most High's permission in the name of His only begotten Son. Long live the King.
Long live the
Blessed is he that considereth the poor. The Elohim will deliver him in time of trouble. The Elohim will preserve him and keep him alive, and he shall be blessed upon the earth. And thou wilt not deliver him unto the will of his enemy. The Elohim will strengthen him upon the bed of language. Thou wilt make all his bed in his sickness. I said, Elohim, be merciful unto me. Heal my soul. For I have sinned against thee. My enemies speak evil of me. When shall he die, and his name perish? And if he come to see me, he speaketh vanity. His heart gathereth iniquity to itself. When he goeth abroad, he telleth it. All that hate me whisper together against me. Against me do they devise my hurt. An evil disease, say they, cleave fast unto him. And now that he lied, he shall rise up no more. Yeah, my own familiar friend in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, hath lifted up his heel against me. But thou, O Elohim, be merciful unto me. and raise me up, that I may require them. By this I know that thou favorest me, because my enemy does not triumph over me. As for me, thou upholdest me in mine integrity, and settest me before thy face forever. Blessed is the Elohim Yahweh of Israel, from everlasting to everlasting. Amen and amen.
Hallelujah! Say hi! Y'all got a shepherd or two, we greatly appreciate it. Shouts out Eli down in the ATL, Eliah.
What I'd like me to do with that power blue shirt on.
He talking about me, man.
Oh, that ain't power blue, it is.
He talking about me.